And here we go. Hello, hello, hello. We are starting on new art stream, which I almost didn't think I would get to today. Anyways, if you're joining us, or me, it's just me here. Oop, might need to turn stuff down. Just a tad. Okay, that's fine. Hope you all are doing well as I finally get back to working on this comic that's just taking forever. Ugh. I almost didn't know if I would stream today because I had a bit of a tough time yesterday. Excuse me. Basically, I had a friend over. We were doing a little hangout. We were like, usually what we do for our hangouts is we get pizza and like, you know, candies and stuff like that. And we watch spooky stuff from YouTube. And it's very fun. We've been doing this for a while. And so we were doing that. And in the middle of like the third video or something, I'm sitting here like, man, I don't feel very good. Like, I feel kind of like, get these warm flashes and I feel nauseous. Maybe I shouldn't have had like that much, you know, pizza and candy together and soda or whatever. So I'm like feeling really bad. And I didn't want to say anything at first. And finally, as the video was finishing, I'm like, oh, you know, I feel kind of sick to my friend. And then she's like, oh no, I feel sick too. And I'm like, wait, what? And she felt the exact same way I did. Like, she also felt kind of nauseous and like warm and all that other stuff. And we're like, oh no, is this like food poisoning? Because we both had pizza. And that was the only thing like we both ate. Well, no, we did have candy, but it was like, you know, packaged candy. I doubt there was a problem there. So we were like, we both realized we felt really bad. And we're like, oh no. So we cut our session short, unfortunately. And I was really worried. I'm like, I feel really nauseous. I'm gonna... Also, hello, thank you for coming to the stream. Sorry, I'm talking about all this yucky stuff just to start off. But, you're both feeling really bad. Yeah! Apparently it's affiliate anniversary today. I didn't even realize. I think I saw like a notice for that. It's like, do something for your affiliate anniversary. I'm like, well, what do? I don't know. I guess I'll get to that when I get to that. And then I forgot. But now here it is. Huzzah! I can't believe it's been a year. It feels like it's not been that long at all. I cannot believe it's been a whole year of affiliate anniversary. Like, I thought it was like last fall I got affiliate or something. So I'm like, what do you mean it's been a year? That's nutty. But thanks for joining me for a whole year of this stuff. It does not feel like a year at all. Good grief. Time's stupid. And flies far away. Yeah, it's worked out pretty well so far. I'm glad I decided to go for the whole affiliate thing. It's been fun, you know, streaming more often. Both games and art stuff. Yeah, I'm glad I felt better enough to do it today. Because, yeah, yesterday it was... We were both feeling really bad. And we're like, oh, shoot, no, we probably got food poisoning. Okay, we'll have to stop. And we, you know, got some meds for that kind of stuff, and then I just kind of plopped into bed, and I'm like, oh, I hope this goes away. I hope I don't throw up. And I didn't, thankfully. By the time I woke up, I was like, oh, I feel better. So if it was a food poisoning thing, it was at least mild. I'm basically wondering if maybe the pizza that we got, if it wasn't, the dough wasn't a little undercooked. Because at least when I was having some of it, I was like, oh, it's a little bit chewy on it, but not too bad, so... It's quite possible that what we both got was just undercooked pizza, and that was messing us up. Which sucks, because usually I order from that place, and it's fine. It's, like, really close to me. I can just go and walk there and get it. But I'm like, oh, maybe next time I'll just make a pizza or something. It was very yucky. And we, like, both felt the exact same way at the same time. So it had to have been something that we ate. Because we're both like, oh, yeah, we both feel, like, bad and nauseous and tired and hot and, So that sucked. In the middle of trying to do a fun hangout, and what if you were trying to do a fun hangout with your friends, and the pizza place said no? You will suffer mild food poisoning instead. But, it could be worse. I'm glad I didn't end up actually throwing up or anything. I got close a couple times, but I didn't, and neither did she, so that's good. And apparently it is gone. As far as I can tell. And went out and, like, you know, I've eaten breakfast and lunch, and went on a walk and got some fresh air, and like, okay, I feel alright. Unlike Chris right now, who does not feel alright. I need some feeling better times. Very badly. Definitely starting to get a lot warmer around here. Thank you for the affiliate birthday thing. Yeah, I totally forgot it was that, and then it's like, it's your affiliate birthday today. Huh? What? Who? Okay. Yeah, Anthrofractal's more than 2 years old. Holy crap. That's nuts. I actually gotta finish the next one. I'm close to it. I'm almost done coloring. But I gotta finish that today, too. Because that one's taking a while. Hello, hello. Thank you for lurking and for coming and listening to my sad story about pizza that was bad. I'm so sad about the bad pizza. Curse you. Pizza, you should be an easy thing to do right. Never mind the fact that I'm getting older, it's getting harder to eat, like, you know, really greasy foods. I want to, but what if you wanted to eat a greasy food and your body was like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm like, but it's tasty. Stupid body. I already ate a vegetable. Why are you mad at me? And I'll do the effects stuff later. Oh yeah, there are some automatic emojis where, like, just sad face, happy face, it'll kind of do that for you. And if you're subscribed, you can get the Lynx emotes. I recently added the blah, blah, blah. Actually, I hope it still works. I think I lost the amount. Well, no, I didn't quite lose the amount that I had. But, like, at certain, I guess, subscriber points, I can get more emotes. And I added the Sleepy Alfie's one. And Rouse back to revive. So now what time did I start? Auto replacement's very weird. It is true. What I really hate is when I'm trying to do auto things. So, like, I'm typing something on my phone or whatever, and it'll, you know, I know a certain word I'm going to type, and then it comes up in the yeah, they do have different vibes. And it comes up in, like, the autocorrect or the auto fill. So I'm like, okay, that's the word I want. I'm gonna do that. You know, just save some time and click the autofill. And then as soon as I do that, it autofills to something else entirely. And I'm like, what were you doing? I was reaching for the thing that you offered me, and you were like, psych, here's an entirely different word that you didn't intend. Like, what is going on with that programming? I don't understand it at all. I literally tried to use your thing as intended, and you were like, no! I'm gonna give you something else entirely unrelated. Dumb programs. So stupid. Oh, did they do that with Discord manually? I know they can have, like, you know, those big stickers now people use sometimes. I use them sometimes. Sometimes not. It depends. Very long robes under Rouse. I haven't gotten much time to work on this part very much because I've been busy with regular work and working on Anthrofractal, and then also doing some, like, smaller little doodle things and Tumblr and stuff like that. And then last week was Undertale Yellow. Yeah, being able to turn it off at all would probably help. Big pointy teeth on the Rouse. Nothing that comes across okay. I'll do the effects for that later. Why do I keep having poses with their heads tilted up? It always looks so weird. There's no way around it looking weird. Ain't no way. But oh well. It is nice to get back to this. And then once I finish this part, maybe next comic will be a bit more chill. At least relatively speaking for this this series. As chill as can be, as is doable. Anyway, I mostly just feel bad that I, yesterday I got my friend sick too. I'm like, no, I didn't want to get you sick. We were supposed to have a fun hangout. And I'm glad we, at least talking to her on the phone. More Eldritch Noel involved. Do need to do that too. Need to hint more at what's going on with her. I really wish I could, do more stuff with, Caddy and Jockington and all that, but it's kind of like, but I don't know what happens in later chapters. I want to know that first. Like somebody asked the thing of like, what about an Eldritch version of, the little cup enemy that was in the newsletter once? And I'm like, I love the cup enemy, but I don't know anything about it yet. I need more information. The pains of trying to do AU stuff when you have 2 chapters out of 7. I should have realized. Vibe is still unclear. So many vibes that need to be sorted out. Where will the vibes go? I have my own predictions, but will they be true or not? Is the question of the ages. Well, not really, but the question of my ages. Hello, thank you for the well wishes about the anniversary. Again, I still can't believe it's been a year. That is nuts to me. Because I could have sworn that this was not what I was doing last year at this time. I just feel it's 3/24 actually. I need to pay some bills and other stuff. I refuse to believe it's been a year as well. Sounds fake. Sounds untrue. Again, I thought I set all this together in fall of last year, not spring. You've been here 9 months. That's crazy. But very cool. Thanks for being here for a whole 9 months. Thank you. That's a long streak. I super appreciate it. Thank you so much. Appreciate you being here and chatting with me. It makes the art go by quick. As Chris is probably hoping it should. I definitely appreciate the support. Eventually, one day, I'll be able to add even more emotes. Second time Chris got revived and they are not doing fine. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I'm pretty sure there's some Patreons I've been subscribed to for 2 or 3 years or whatever, and I'm like, wait, I've been there that long? How does that work? Oh, maybe 4 years at this point. My friend will start a Patreon for something, and then they'll kind of stop the project, but the Patreon is still there, and I'm like, well, I'm not gonna stop supporting my friend, so I just kind of leave him even though nothing's happening with it. It's just like, here's $3 every month because you're my friend. And yeah, Chris is struggling, but they will get a cool badass moment in just a bit. Nothing else, they can at least get those cool badass moments. Even though I know this is on black ink, for some reason it doesn't look quite right. Yeah, sometimes it just happens that way. And I don't mind it. There have been like a few long-term, you know, Patreon things I was in where it's like I wasn't supporting a friend or anything and they changed direction or whatever. And I was like, okay, I don't really care about the direction you're going anymore. I'd rather throw this at somebody else. So I stopped some of those. But that doesn't happen super frequently for me. Also, Alfie is sitting out on her rock right now. I thought she would go back into her hide, but no, she's out on her rock. Yeah, exactly. I'm sure that's happened people, so some of my patrons as well, and that's fine. Definitely, I used to be a lot more active with stuff with, now when Skybox was going. I think the hardest person to draw looking up is actually Ralse in this scenario. Figure out what their snout is doing, and it's hard to tell or what his snout is doing. What is going on with your snout, sir? Lost in the darkness. Oh, well, see, there you go. That's pretty useful. Okay, got that one done. Yay! We're on to page 4. Oh yeah, basically I was going through and getting the backgrounds done at least, so we got those done. Now we're on to these. So I'm gonna do the special ones. Oh, thanks so much. I'm glad you think it looks good. And also, thank you for coming to the stream. Alright, that's the antlers. Your big, silly, giant antlers. Big cities. Yeah, thanks a bunch for coming. We also had Alfie's out at the hangout yesterday. I'm like, here, pet the lizard. And she just kind of sits there and she's like, okay, I will be pet. She is very good about receiving pets. Yeah, at least I got the backgrounds done with this one, so now it's mostly just to focus on the characters. And the effects and all that stuff, and the text. Okay, there's still a lot left to do. Gosh darn. The next page will be the cool page, where the cool badass stuff happens. Which we should hopefully get to. I keep thinking I see something shift and it's probably just my playlist underneath. Oh, thank you. Some pages certainly take longer than others. Anything with a complicated background or a crowd scene, I'm like, no! Also, two most annoying things to storyboard: people playing musical instruments and people and kids sitting in a classroom. Like, those two mundane things, I'm like, oh no. I gotta draw them sitting in a classroom. With all their dang little chairs and their legs are between the chairs and the desks. But not between these desk legs because where your feet are positioned is different. And, it's surprisingly annoying. And then one episode for a show I was working on over the summer, last summer. The last episode I did for it was like, hey, they're gonna go to a musical world and play, instruments in a band, and I'm quietly in my mind like, oh no. Hello, thank you for coming. I am certainly doing better than I thought I would be. I thought I would be laid up today because I'm like, I got food poisoning, I'm gonna sit here being sick. What show? Polly Pocket. Because this is like I think they're on like, I don't know what season they're on right now. But I've worked on multiple seasons for that show, so I feel comfortable being like, it was Polly Pocket. Which was a fun show to work on. Fairly chill. Just that one episode, I'm like, oh no, they're all going to be playing musical instruments. I don't know if this is the same. I'm pretty sure Polly Pocket has had multiple iterations. This is one that's been going since... it's been at least like 5 or 6 seasons or something like that. I can't even remember which one they're on right now. So that's probably about 6 years ago. So mid 2010s. Yeah, I know. I at least worked on seasons 1 through 3 of Polly Pocket, and they actually changed quite a bit. Like the first season, they had like this, big villain, kind of like a Cruella de Vil thing going on, and then they kind of dropped her and her lackey, because her lackey was basically her daughter, and there was kind of a weird relationship going on there. And they're like, never mind, they're just going to have really weird adventures. And now it's like, also there's aliens sometimes, and like Bigfoot's there, and just whatever the hell you want to do, they're like, we're just going to do it, we don't even care. And that's kind of fun. Yeah, normal cartoon. Like, we were going to do this, like, no, never mind. There's going to be aliens and bugs and, like, whatever. Do what you want. Polly Pocket does what it wants. And that's kind of refreshing. It's kind of nice because usually that's the kind of thing that you would reserve for, like, a boys show. Where it's like, they're going to do all this kind of weird, crazy stuff. But, like, all the main characters for this are, like, girls. Except, well, actually, no, there's one. Basically, there's, like, the token guy in the group. And that's it. The rest is girls. Oh, so where are you now in Kingdom Hearts 3? Definitely the whole bit with, like, I guess nobody loved you as a child, Xehanort. Best part. Yeah, the toys are really good. Everybody likes them toys. We used to have, like, little Micro Machine Polly Pocket things for, like, Star Wars. Start of Kingdom of Corona. Okay, that's a good world. I actually like that one. I did like the Tangled world. I thought that was a pretty well done world. Well, once you get to the Frozen one, that doesn't quite hold up as well for reasons. I think I'll blame Disney for those reasons. But, like, Tangled works out well, and honestly, like, for a long time I was like, what, Tangled would be good in Kingdom Hearts. Like, that would be a solid world, and that was true. That was the truth. Slightly less true for Frozen World. There's some cool stuff going on in there, to be sure, but there's parts where it's like, okay, Disney, you definitely meddled in this in detrimental ways. And there's a few like side quest things where it's like, okay, we're doing this, I guess. The world I definitely had the most trouble with was Pirates of the Caribbean, because I could not get the hang of the ship battles. Those were difficult. And then there's also like some other ones. I'm sure you're hopefully you're not you're spoiled on all the worlds and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure they've been talked about in various situations. But there's also the Big Hero 6 world, which I was actually looking forward to, and then when I actually got to it, it was kind of tough and not as much fun as I was hoping. Mostly because it was like they really go to the trouble of, like, you know, having that whole dang city, or almost the whole dang city, like, modeled out. So it's really easy to get lost in there. It's like, this is a city, and yeah, you have a map, but the map's not super helpful. At least, I don't know, maybe other people have less trouble with it. I had trouble with it. Nice. You got some skills. And honestly, I can also see it like 4-3 Proud not being quite as difficult, because like there are so many options you have in terms of like how you can fight and stuff like that. It's like, well, you can do, you know, flow motion, or you can do the summons, or you can do magic, or you can do blah blah blah. Like there's like the 10 bajillion different things you can do. So basically you just, you know, pick what you like the most and, you know, use it how you want. There's just so many options for how to chew through enemies pretty quickly that probably not super difficult if you know what you're doing. There's some parts that are a little tougher. Like I tried to do a little bit of the side quest stuff with like this certain heartless that, you know, like these are the fun heartless that you go and fight and you get special rewards for them. Like those are the flan ones, and for those ones, those were a little tough because it's like you have to beat them in this particular way. You can't, if you do it this way wrong, you won't get it. Bistro food can bail you out of difficult parts. Yeah, I didn't use it that much. I should have used it more often now that I think about it, but I didn't use it too often. And I try to get a lot of recipes for it, but I know there are some I'm missing. Some of the harder to find ingredients. So this looks like a good place to find some ingredients. That is totally fair. Like there's so many like games out there that you can just like get now that you don't have to tackle many AAA stuff, all the AAA stuff if you don't want to. I think like most, if not all, the things on my list were like, you know, not AAA games. Because I'm like, okay, the stuff that interests me, I'm gonna, you know, do that. And I'll be like, you know, $30 as opposed to $70. I think Kingdom Hearts 3 was the last I would consider AAA game I played that I could think of right now. And that was back in 2019. So, take that as you will. Burbly! Burbly! The burb is struck. Right, I actually stood in line at midnight to get Kingdom Hearts 3. And it was January in Canada. And they made us stand outside and I was very cold. And I didn't bring a good enough jacket. I'm just sitting there in line. I'm like, I've waited so many years for this. And I'm very cold. Oh yeah, there's Baldur's Gate 3. That does look fun at least. That is true. There are like, there's not a lot of AAA games out there that interest me. But like, there's a couple exceptions. Like Baldur's Gate 3 looks, at least from what I've heard from people who have played it, like that looks like a worthwhile, like the giant budget paid off for it kind of thing. You'll get your money's worth. Yeah, that's what them organization members do. They show up, they give exposition, they leave. Unfortunately, that will continue. I can promise you that. That will unfortunately not go away. Oh boy. But it is always really funny, again, when the Disney characters harp on them. I love Nobody Loved You as a Child, and I love Vanitas just getting tossed through like 50 doors and then thrown away. I'm like, why don't... this is the kind of thing that I wish they had done more, like, in earlier parts of the game. Like, a lot of the times there's kind of this hands-off approach between, you know, the Disney side and the anime side, I guess. But it was nice when they actually had, like, the Disney characters, you know, call them out, like, stop being such whiny bitches. I don't know, just, it was nice. I would have liked to have seen more of that. I'm trying to remember if there's moments like that in the Tangled World. Well, it's at the very least now, it's a lot easier to play Kingdom Hearts on like one system than it was when I was doing it, because like when it was all coming out, it was like, you want to play the newest game? Well, you better get this console, because that's all it's gonna be on. Yeah, if you want to actually know how to play it, just play it in release order. That's really how it was intended to be played anyway. So just start with 1. Good place to start. And 1 is like a good game. It stands very well on its own. For as upset as I am with how the series ended with 3, I will perfectly contend that 1 and 2 are good games. And simple and clean is the way that you make me feel tonight. Exactly. Please, oh baby, don't go. Whenever I'm playing Sky with a Reb and stuff, since that's the multiplayer game, you know, there's certain spirits you have to maybe relive to get, you know, the daily bonuses or whatever. And there's one spirit, the most difficult one to do. It's kind of like their emotion is they're reaching out for somebody, like, no, please help. And so we've called it the don't go spirit. And it's like, oh no, today we have the please, oh baby, don't go spirit. It's the hardest one in the game. Sometimes we just have to skip it because we're like, oh no, this is too hard. We don't have time for this today. A lot of standing and talking, yeah. There's a shocking amount of that in the end game because there's so many things to go over. It's like you do like a boss battle and then you have standing and talking. Boss battle and standing and talking. Boss battle, standing and talking. Like there's a lot of that over and over again because like you're wrapping up like 5 different, you know, story beats all at once. It's it's a lot. And also I'm getting up to stretch. It's my stretching time. Stretching time. Yeah, it's gonna get a little nuts by the end of the game where like, you know, we have the whole organization plus like all the Ansems and all the Rikus and all the everybody's, and they're all trying to figure out, you know, what the heck is happening. But I am curious to see what your reaction is to the end game, because that is the point where the game fell apart for me. I liked all the Disney stuff, pretty much. And, you know, the gummy ships were pretty good. I still like the ones in 2 better, but I like the gummy ships in 3. So a little overwhelming with how many like play mechanics there are. Like there's just tons of them. But gives you a lot of options anyway. Also, another thing about 3 that bothered me, they really kind of skimped on Winnie the Pooh. Like, normally, you know, you have the Winnie the Pooh world. It's actually a really nice little diversion. That's where you put all your mini games and stuff like that, or a good chunk of your mini games. And, you know, you get to, you know, have a quiet space to hang out and have cute moments with Sora and all the Winnie the Pooh friends. And they really skimped on that in 3. There's barely anything. There is basically one mini game you can do like 3 times over, and barely anything else aside from that. It was kind of disappointing. Oh, haha. Oh, thanks so much. Also, thanks for coming to the stream, and I'm glad you like the drawings. I'm just up to stretch real quick, because I gotta do that every half hour for my wrist, or else things go terribly for my wrist. But yeah, we're making progress on this Eldritchrune comic. Haven't been able to make much progress, but today I can, and I'll be right back for one more stretch. Elfies on the rock. Alrighty, I am back. Yeah, no, I highly recommend stretching in between stuff all the time, because don't be like me. Don't do what I do. I have to do this now all the time anyway because of when I injured my wrist. And I couldn't draw at all, and that was just absolutely one of the worst times of my life. Was realizing I was severely injured and could not draw. So, as a result of that, I had to do a bunch of physical therapy to get back to pretty much normal. But one of those things is, one, I cannot draw the breakneck pace that I was doing before. It's just not manageable. I have to set limits for myself. And two, I stretch every half hour, or try every half hour, just to, keep myself in good shape. Yeah, I think that happens a lot with artists, kind of stuff, where you're just like, oh, I'm in the zone, here I go. And then, oh no, all this time has passed. So usually what I'm doing, I haven't been doing this for the streams as much, so I kind of miss it, but I usually, especially when I'm working, I just set an alarm. So every half hour, it's like, okay, time to get up. And also, I can look out the window, it's better for my eyeballs and stuff like that. But gotta do that, because otherwise, no, well, that's why you said it, turn it off immediately. I feel like it should be on a different layer, but it's not now. But also, alarms don't bother me as much, because, as soon as I hear an alarm, I'm like, well, that is off. If I, some people have to, set alarms, over and over in order to wake up. I have one alarm. The moment it goes off, I am up like a light. Bam, it's off, I'm awake. Lucked out in that sense, pretty much. I don't really sleep through alarms. They are off and I am up. Not having to draw in time, I know, it's hard. But you can learn to be creative like that. It's just another boundary you can give yourself. It's much preferable to the... Yeah, you don't make an alarm that's a song you like, because then you're not going to want to turn it off. It has to be something you're like, stop making noise, stop right now, stop. But it's better to have those limits than oh no, now I'm in serious trouble, I can't draw at all because I pushed myself too hard. And that's been an unfortunate thing, because I wish I could go back to how I used to, where I just draw for hours and then never stop, and I just can't do that anymore. So I have to propose these limits to myself, and because of that I can keep going now. Whereas if I had tried to do what I was doing before, I just would not be able, physically could not do it. So, yeah, so unfortunately limits are a thing, which is why I encourage people to do that, get into those habits now. Do not push yourself to the point where, you hurt yourself. It sucks so much. It's really terrifying. I feel Toby on that sense, he, pushed himself so much that he injured himself. That's a legit terrifying place to be in. It's really, really upsetting. Which is why I'm like, okay, don't bug Toby about going too fast on the game. He needs time for it. Also, hello, thank you for coming to the stream. Appreciate you being here. It's just like having been in that position of, you know, the thing that you love to do so much has hurt you is like, I would not wish that on anybody. It's really upsetting. Yeah. Ugh. That sucks. That so sucks about the pizza, because normally when I get pizza from that place, it's fine. We've done this a whole bunch of times, and like this is the first time that it was not good. I don't know, maybe they rushed it or something. Now I'm kind of like, shoot, maybe next time we do this, I should just make my own pizza. Because this was, I couldn't quite tell at the time, but now that I'm looking back on it, I'm like, you know what, I think it was undercooked. Because, like when I was getting something, I'm like, oh, this is like a little bit soft, chewy dough on this thing. But I thought it was just me until I was like, oh, I feel kind of sick to my friend, and she's like, wait, I feel kind of sick too, and we were like, oh no. So mostly I'm just sad I got my friend sick. I'm like, no, we were supposed to hang out. Apparently, it's, you know, pizza should not be a hard thing to cook, but maybe they were working a little too fast and dough didn't have enough time in the oven or something. Because, we both ate pizza and we both felt nauseous and warm and bad. So, that was our best guess. And we felt these things at the same time. So, our best guess was it had to be something we ate. It had to be the pizza. Yeah, it was probably just a mistake. Just, I don't know, somebody was not keeping track of whatever was going on. Something was overlooked. I'm sure that kind of a thing happens. It just super sucks. I mean, I'm glad it was not as bad as it could have been. I was really worried that, like, one or both of us was going to puke. Because we both felt really nauseous. It was really miserable. And we're like, okay, fine, we'll just stop the hangout. And she had to go home, and luckily her husband came by and left, you know, some Pepto-Bismol and meds and sugar drinks and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go to bed, and I'm going to sleep in and stuff like that. Maybe it'll be better. And had a bit of a rough sleep. By the time I woke up, I was like, okay, I'm not nauseous. That's good. That's good. And I went for a walk, and I had my breakfast, and I'm like, okay, I don't think this, whatever this was, at least did not, my body was at least able to handle it. So that's good at least. But it was not fun at the time, because we were trying to hang out and have fun, and then it was like, I can't feel, I'm trying to watch My House.wad that feels bad. Oh. And she thought it was the video at first, because we were watching we were watching spooky YouTube, so we were watching like My House.wad. And she's like, oh, I kept having to look away, I thought, because it was, you know, the game footage and all the, you know, motion sickness stuff. And I'm like, no, I feel bad too, and I was watching it more closely, so. Ugh. I like using this brush, but it really loses its effectiveness at like less than 6 pixels. Oh, that's weird. Why would they give you something you didn't order? Yeah, I don't think I've ever had bad food poisoning before, so I was really worried. I'm like, oh no, am I going to throw up? I hate throwing up. No, I don't want to throw up. And it didn't happen, so whatever it was, if it was food poisoning, it was not severe enough that it got either of us that way. So, I'm glad about that. But I almost thought, well, maybe I won't stream today. But then I was like, okay, by lunch I'm feeling okay. I feel well enough for that, so. And it's scary, like, looking this stuff up on WebMD. It's like, what if it's salmonella? Oh, no. Oh, no. But I don't think salmonella acts that way. Basically, cook your food. Please. Yeah, you're not supposed to eat undercooked flour. I'm glad you do not have poison pizza. You know, it sucks. Usually I have no problems ordering from that place, but they must have just made a mistake and calculated it wrong, didn't leave it in long enough. I don't know what the deal is. But we both felt bad at the same time in the same way. So that is all I can pin it on. It was the food. You might push her claw back. She shouldn't be standing in the... She should not be like, don't put your claw in the acid, Susie. A little weird. Hopefully it's okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to... The problem is now I have all this leftover pizza and I'm like, well, I don't want to eat that anymore, so I'm gonna have to throw it all out. That sucks. I'll waste all that pizza. Well, thank you for making sure that's all proper. That's a really important thing, actually. I think people don't quite realize how important food safety is in that sense. How easily it can go astray. I'm really wondering if there was anybody else who got pizza from that place that also got sick last night. I have no way. I don't know how I'd find out. It's the microbes pizza now. It belongs to the landfill. Boo. Not a big sushi fan myself, but I do like, you know, various other foods in that range. Improperly microwave pizza. Ugh, no. I don't like that because then it's going to be like some parts of it are hot and some parts of it are cold. Ugh. Oh, I need her. Well, no, I guess that can be like her thumb claw. Place orders food. Huh. Oh, that's weird. How does that happen? Shellfish pizza sounds like that's not necessarily a good idea because those really have to cook at different like times and stuff like that. I don't know how you would manage that. Oh, that's so weird. Live with it was horrific. That I can believe. Ugh. Yeah, honestly, next time I just might make a pizza myself. I haven't done that in a while. I need to ask my dad for the recipe again because he was the one that would make homemade pizza and he was really good at it. And I miss his homemade pizza. You know, it's all like really nice and soft dough, but all, you know, kind of fluffy too, which is a little bit unusual for pizza. You know, not so greasy. It's more on the, you know, kind of baked fluffy side. So that was really good. But I used to cook pizza for myself a lot more often than I stopped. So I've forgotten the recipe. I need to email him and be like, Dad, what was your recipe? Please tell me. So that I don't poison my friend again. Ugh. I don't see if I was gonna get a single large soda. I don't know. I would just go to the grocery store and get it. I just don't get why you would get that from like DoorDash. I don't know. At least get hot food. I guess people order what they want, but I don't really understand that. Transport your soda there in my little car. Yeah, exactly. And like a fresh pizza you make yourself, like most of the time, it's just really good. She can put her hoobsies here because this is getting frozen. Yeah, DoorDash is pretty expensive. Any delivery place is. The whole point is you're supposed to be paying for the convenience. I usually like get delivery or, you know, go out for something once a week, and then the rest of the week is stuff I've cooked and then leftovers of that. I just do not like cooking very much, so it's a bit of a chore for me. But I still do it because it's a little bit... I definitely could... if I ate out all the time, one, that would get kind of exhausting, and two, it's really expensive. Imagine spending $6 for a big watery soda. Oof. Oof, oof, oof. Could not be me. Also, like, of all the drinks that, like, you get a big, you know, you get your big American sippy of, I feel like soda is probably the least good for that. I don't know. But I also, like, gave up soda. Well, I didn't give up soda entirely. I just had one last night. But, they are a much more rare thing for me. I usually get iced tea. Chris, gonna get creative. Chris creative. I don't know what that means. Yeah, iced tea is my go-to now. I like iced tea. Let's get creative. Green is not a creative color. I remember when that was everywhere. Let's see all those, you know, Tony the Clock or whatever on my Tumblr dash. Cheap beer and huge glass. Oh, that's a big old mug. I am not much of a beer drinker myself. I don't like the taste. If I have alcohol, it has to not taste like alcohol. It has to have like all this fruit and sugar in it. Hello, thank you for coming to the stream. So we talk about weird foods that'll make you feel weird. And also big drinks. And also, let's get creative. Although I don't think I ever actually watched Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared past the second episode. Like, I didn't see for myself all the extra episodes they did, because I know there's a lot more now. Did that stuff come out around the same time as FNAF? I feel like it did. I feel like that was in like the same, I don't know, era vein as FNAF. Like first FNAF games, I guess it's technically still going, but when it was really big. Yeah, I've watched like all those analysis videos on it because I like watching, you know, like Nightmind and Sagan Hawks and, you know, Wendigoon and all those folks. Those are fun for me to watch. I need to actually watch the things though. Oh, Rattlers. I think that's what those are called that here too. Well, alcohol-free beer sounds kind of weird. I don't know. Yeah, I don't agonize over every line. But I think also, like, I'm a little bit weird in that sense compared to other artists. Some artists really do actually spend quite a bit of time, like, you know, thinking through lines. And I'm like, nope, that's the one I'm putting down. That's what you're getting. And if I don't like it, I'll just undo it real quick. That's actually why I recommend, like, if people ask me, like, oh, what do you do to, like, you know, improve stuff? And I'm like, draw on paper with a pen. Basically create a situation where you cannot erase. And you have to be happy with the lines you put down. That will build confidence, like, really quickly. Because then, like, one, it will help you think more about, okay, what lines am I putting down and why? And two, again, you can't correct any mistakes. You just have to live with them. And in that sense, you'll be like, okay, one, it's okay to make mistakes. And two, you know, you'll just get more confident with the line work you have. But I also did that for like years and years and years before I started doing everything digitally. It's a little hard when, like, you know, when you're working digitally and you can undo everything you do pretty much. You really can't really get out of that. Yeah, I mean, I use the undo button all the time. But I would say definitely part of it was I spent a good chunk of my younger years just being like, okay, I'm going to, you know, it's going to be ink on paper and I can't change it. Yeah, gesture drawings too, especially. Because that also teaches you to draw quickly and to think clearly about, you know, what's the most important thing here? What do I get down first? And by gesture drawings, if you haven't done this before, that's basically go outside in any kind of informal setting, like the mall or whatever, and just draw regular people. They're not going to sit still for you. They're going to be moving all the time. So you have to get down the most important things, which is the gesture. Yeah, get yourself some nice pens and paper. It's always good. I should do more practice again. I haven't done a study in a long time, so I just haven't had time for it. I need to go to the mall or something, and do some actual studies. So I'm probably falling way behind some of my peers in that sense, because I don't study anymore. Yeah, well, the thing is, if you are sitting there and, drawing, most everybody else is too busy to notice what you're doing. They don't care. Don't be creepy about it, obviously, but, most people are I've got my own crap to deal with. Whatever you're doing, just don't bother me. Yeah, drawing people at school was good. What I used to do when I lived in California, and, before it became extremely expensive, was I would go to Disneyland and I would draw people. And that was a really great place to draw people. One, because, it's Disneyland. It's okay, if I want to, get a cool pretzel or a churro, I can just do that. Or go on a ride. But also, too, there's just tons and tons and tons of different people at Disneyland. All different shapes, sizes, ethnicities, ages, whatever. A lot of kids, too. So you just go there. I would just go there and do a bunch of gesture drawings of people. And, also, if I'm there, I'm hey, I want to do a little landscape. Let's go to, Adventureland and draw the tiki room and do a little watercolor of that. And you can do that. So that was a really cool place to go and draw. And I can't do that anymore. And unfortunately, even if I was living in California, I don't think I could do that, which is too bad. No, there's really nothing romantic about life drawing, at least, there usually isn't, unless you're in Titanic, I guess. Mostly you are sitting there trying to focus really hard on doing a good job. You really don't care about, how attractive the person is. They're a person. They're, at least whenever I've done life drawing, I don't have intrusive thoughts on that. Just kind of alright, this is my subject. I need to sit down and draw them. Why can't I get this part right? I can't get this part right. Ah! There ain't time to think about other stuff then. At least there shouldn't be. And it's not impossible for, to have a kind of a creep who's a model. I've been in situations where the model, usually they just sit there and stand there and do whatever. They're not worrying about much. But sometimes you've had models that are creeps to the artist, and that sucks. But it's not the norm. And usually if you have a model that's a creep, they're not going to be a model for long. Because somebody's going to be hey, model is being chatty in really unfortunate ways. And they will not be invited back. I remember my art school, or my art class in high school, they were trying to, branch out a bit. So they were all hey, we're going to try and have a live model, sessions. Unfortunately, that's a little bit harder to do with high schoolers than, adults. Being hey, can we have this nude person around all these high schoolers? Parents don't like that so much. So we had to get, permission slips signed and all that. And it couldn't be during school hours. It had to be, outside time or something like that. So this whole production. Yeah, and also nude models can be harassed by students, too. It's not impossible for it to happen. It's just unlikely. It is not the norm. It is considered, it's considered bad form, obviously. Set amount of time for each drawing. Oh, that's a fun challenge. One challenge I gave myself once when I was trying to do some practicing was, I would put on a song or a playlist or whatever, just a randomized playlist of songs, and I would have to paint something about the song within the span of the song. So like I would try to listen to like get some imagery of it from the song, and then you know, basically draw or paint or whatever what I imagine from the song in the time frame of listening to the song. So that was a fun exercise. I think I've got like a couple, you know, I don't know, maybe 100 or so more of those. I have on my computer somewhere. So that is an exercise I would recommend. Yeah, it's a fun exercise. And then of course I recommend waking up drawings, because that was formative to me. Which is basically for waking up drawings. This, like if I was teaching a class, this is something I would assign people. Where basically you have, you know, some spare paper or a notebook or something by your bed, and then what you do is the first thing you do when you wake up is draw something. It can be something from a dream. That was usually how I would, like, you know, get something down from a dream, is I would wake up and draw it. But sometimes, you know, if I didn't remember a dream or something, I would just draw whatever I wanted, or just kind of move the pen across the page. And that I found was a really, really useful way to just generate ideas. Because, like, when you are first awake, like, your sensor brain isn't really turned on. There's really, you know, you're still kind of half out of it. It's a really good way to just get stuff down with no rhyme or reason. You know, your brain is not fully in yet, but your imagining brain is still going strong, especially if you just had a dream or something like that. And it really allows you to get down some ideas and stuff that you would not have done otherwise if you were, like, fully awake. And yeah, it doesn't matter, like, how bad the drawings look. That's not important at all. The only thing that matters is, like, just get something down on paper. And, like, some stuff that I got from that, I ended up using, like, in full stuff. Like Speyside came from one of those. The whole looking thing with them, like, you know, space birds. That was a waking up drawing. That was the first time I drew Speyside, and I ended up using them in Skybox. So you might get some really cool ideas from it. Oh no! Get out of here, Express Menu. Model skeleton you can form however you need. Oh, that would be useful. That would be super useful. I would like that, actually, because, yeah, sometimes it's like, okay, I really want a reference for this particular pose, but I don't know if I can find this pose, and it's going to be really hard. You know, sometimes you don't have to tag this big library of, you know, references. Even harder to do that now because of the freaking AI stuff everywhere. Please send that to me in my Discord. Like I know you posted it here, but, like, link that in, like, the art show or something, or whatever in the Discord, so that I can take a look at that later, because I'm probably gonna miss the link. Because that would be super useful. It's like a posable skeleton, and then you can look up reference for that. That'd be so nice. Because, like, skeleton is cool, but especially, like, you know, if you want something with clothes, if you want something with person with fat on them or whatever, then it's nice to have actual reference, especially with, like, lighting and stuff like that. So yeah, link that in the Discord, please. I would appreciate it. Yep. Keep forgetting this is not Storyboard Bro. I can't just do the thing whenever I want. I'm pretty sure every time I draw these things, they're in the wrong position. Oh well. Yeah, I'm always about references. Anything that makes references easier, I'm down for. You know, posing model thing. Okay. Yay! This one's done. We are slowly but surely getting through these pages. Phew. Okay. I'm drinking some iced tea right now. Nope, another background. Let's see, take that down a bit. Going to get Gory Board Grow. It's legal, yeah. Let's see, where does the, oh, Care 2S? Oh, right, that's what it is. Yeah, that'd be cool. Oh, and it's free. Unfortunately, Storyboard Pro is not free. I'd like to update my version, but then again, I think I'd have to like pay for the whole thing if I update it. And it works okay so far, so I'll just keep at it as it is. I feel like in the past I wanted to use some of those, you know, pose the model for your reference things, but they didn't work in Mac, so I couldn't use them. But now that I have a PC, I could probably use that kind of stuff. Really good storyboard function. Draw on a Steam Deck. Hey, whatever works for you. Yeah, that is a bit of a problem. Yeah, I definitely... It was worthwhile for me to get Storyboard Pro. One, just for work reasons, obviously. But two, like this, you know, it's a superior storyboarding program. It literally has things like, here's how you add the audio. You can add a 3D, you know, camera to it. If you want to flip an entire scene, you can do that pretty quickly. You know, all this other stuff that is just quality of life for storyboarding specifically. You know, here's a transition you can add. So it's very useful for making animatics. Oh yeah, that would drive me nuts. For Storyboard Pro's timing bad, here, tweak this specific thing, you're done. Lizard. Speaking of Lizard, you are still on your rock, Alfie. You're getting your rays. You're getting your UV rays. Good. You need to get your UV rays. You need your vitamin D's. They're very important for a lizard. Not even sure why she has this tuft of fur right there, just kind of stuck. Reasons. One's in this art tablet I got. Oh. Lynx is goofy. Man, I know it would be probably useful to learn Linux or something, but I never quite got the hang of it. Like, I feel like there's one of my classes I took way back in the day that I don't even remember what class it was, but they're like, okay, in order to run this program, we are running it on Linux. We're not doing this with Windows. So we would have to just boot Linux every time we did this class, and that in of itself was kind of tricky. And then I'm like trying to look at the Linux layout, and I'm like, I really don't get how this works. Like, I'm sure if I practice with enough, I could figure it out, but good grief, you gotta practice with it. Asus ROG Alley. What I really should try and do, though, is start trying out different search engines instead of Google, because Google is definitely getting to the point. Yeah, Ubuntu, that was it. They would make us, like, boot up Linux and Ubuntu. Why did they make us use Ubuntu? What was the program we were using? I can't remember. I feel like it was a compositing program or something like that, which is probably why I didn't remember it. This compositing is its whole other discipline, which I am not super knowledgeable in. But if you can do compositing, you'll pretty much always have work. Ah. Okay. Susie gets to toss Chris. The tradition is maintained. Ocean Hero. All right. Wait, is that a Chromium browser? I thought that might be a Chromium browser. I basically I kind of use 3 different browsers. I started using Firefox for my main one because that's what everybody said. But I still use Chrome for the Anthrofractal one, and then I use Explorer or Edge, I guess it is now, for my work one. Because I usually have like 3 emails open at once for various things, and to that end I'm like, well, if I'm using 3 different, accounts, I'm going to just put them all in different browsers. That way I can keep them apart. It's like all the Anthrofractal stuff is on a different email, and all my work stuff is on a different email. So instead of having to switch back and forth between them all, I'm like, okay, let's just put them on different browsers. But I basically did have the Firefox and Chromium or Chrome switched, and eventually I was like, okay, I'm getting really tired of Chrome. I'm going to switch it to the thing I use less, and now I just use Firefox as my main one. And I really need to get like uBlock Origin or something for friggin' YouTube ads, because they're so annoying. I just haven't gotten to it yet. Yeah, there's like add-ons you can get for it. I just need to download a good ad blocker for Firefox. Practically a necessity nowadays. That's so annoying. Google. And remember when everybody's like, Google is like taking over everything, but they're good and stuff. Like, I remember when people seriously thought that. Alas, it was not meant to be. Also, I might need to stop and do my stretches real quick. Let's do that. There we go. She toss. Okay. With big floofy tail, it is time to stretch. Yeah, unfortunately, Edge does not work super great. I use it for work stuff, and that worked well enough for what I have to do for work. Yeah, I imagine a lot of stuff that works on the desktop just does not work on mobile anymore, because everybody uses stuff on their phone, or a lot of people do. Stretch. Yeah, Edge works fine. Again, it works fine for the purposes of like my work browser, pretty much. Is Edge also a Chromium? Of course it is. Okay, here's a question. Is Safari Chromium? Because I thought at least that one was another one that was not, because it's Mac-based. Like, that's the one I kind of still use on my phone. Safari is not. Okay, that's what I thought. But obviously that's going to be for if you have a Mac or an iPhone, which is what I have. I've been using that for long enough. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to bother switching to Android on this or whatever. iPhone is fine. Yep, the ads, they're inescapable. Even on this very Twitch channel. They are here. Yeah, at least this way. I get a little money from it. Not much, but something. Yeah, Safari is just on Apple. That was actually my third browser I was using when I was using my Mac. And then I switched to my PC. I still have my old Mac. I haven't gotten rid of it yet. I need to figure out what to do with it. Like, it's old and Not in the best shape, but it's still usable if somebody like cleans it up real good. Well, I'm glad it's not too frequent. It's pretty much 3 different branches: Chromium base, which is the most popular, Firefox, and some small forks of it, almost not used, and Safari. Okay, that makes sense. Ah, the conglomerates. Always basing it down to 3 choices now. Ain't that the way? Yeah, the one I heard is good as uBlock Origin, so that's what I need to download and figure out at some point. Alright, be right back for one more stretch. Hey girl, look at your leg. Returning. Oh, you're so silly. Alfie's is doing that thing where she just has like one leg stretched out. I'm glad you found a VPN that works. Yeah, I suspect that most of the ones that get advertised, you know, by my favorite YouTubers are probably not in the best the best choice anyway, but that's just how sponsorships be. You gotta pay your bills somehow. NordVPN, Surfshark VPN, all them. Oh, wait, this is on special lines. Shoot. Get out of here. Yeah, I'm sure it does. Everybody wants your data. Help, they're after my data. We've already got it. Servers be expensive. It's true. I think that's probably part of the problem when people are like, why can't we just have a good, you know, social media site? And it's like, because this stuff is expensive. Yeah, it's not like it's like if you're gonna pay for this one way, either, you know, do it with the data or do it with a subscription. Both is really stupid. This comment is sponsored by Raid Shadow VPN. Ugh. Yeah, I at least have, I don't remember which program I have, but I have something that make Twitter less crappy, because I literally, whatever I got gets rid of the, you know, the news feed, the For You thing or whatever. I couldn't stand that because it was making me so anxious that it always put terrible things in, you know, the What's Trending bar or whatever. I'm like, okay, I can't stand What's Trending anymore. Get out of here. So thankfully, whatever program I downloaded got rid of that, and it still works for now. Could not stand What's Trending. It made me so upset. I'm like, this should not be making me so upset. I really do hope people kind of move to Blue Sky eventually with that kind of stuff, because, like, at least so far my experience there has been like, okay, this is a much more chill and manageable kind of Twitter than Twitter has ever been. Or, well, maybe not ever been, but certainly is now. Thanks, Elon. Again. Yeah, I imagine, like, eventually people might move to something like Blue Sky if you know, Twitter just gets really unusable. But it's getting there. I guess that or co-host, but I haven't really, like, I got a co-host and ended up never using it, so I'm still primarily on Tumblr. That's where most of the most of my activity is. Like Blue Sky's behind on a few things, like you can't natively post videos or GIFs there yet. Like you can link to a video fine, but like if I wanted to like, you know, post a video off my phone, can't do that yet, so they gotta work on that. But I imagine that's also expensive to host, so you gotta build up to it. Yeah, it's just much better. Not perfect by any means. Goodness knows that, you know, it's social media. It's got its problems, but compared to Twitter, Tumblr is still better. Well, maybe. I haven't looked at DeviantArt in years now, and also I don't want to anymore because now they got all this AI stuff there. So I'm like, no thanks for that. Art's spacious. DeviantArt was kind of, I guess, well, I would say it's my first social media because what I was first, well, not even what I was first using, but what I was using in, like, you know, early 2000s was, like, forums. I was on forums a lot. But, I don't know. If social media ever becomes unusable all over, across the board, I'll just, like, I'm just going to start a forum again. I'll start, like, a Eldritchrune forum or something. I don't know. And get your weird forum signatures and stuff like that. I think this is a special line, so this counts. This counts. Yeah, I don't even know what DeviantArt's up to these days. It's a mess. Yeah. It's just, you should be able to, like, you know, have control over what's actually on your feed. Please. Seems like a bare minimum. It's just so disappointing because, like, DeviantArt actually, like, took a stand against, like, NFT stuff. And now they're like, nope, all in on the AI stuff. And I'm like, really? 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 Guys, come on. I don't know. I guess it depends. I mean, there's stuff like, you know, NeoCities. I think that's going on, which is pretty cool. But when I got the Anthrofractal domain, no issues getting that. I mean, weird word, so hard to, you know, hard for somebody to pick that up first, but I think it's doable. Yeah, it's like, at least properly tag your stuff. Come on. DeviantArt, why? Why? This is not going to help. It's going to get a flood of really low quality crap. Nobody's going to want to come to your site. Yeah, I guess it depends on the domain and what you need. And I guess that is the main problem, is like, no matter what you're doing, you're going to have to pay server costs yourself, or domain or registration stuff. Like I do pay for that for Anthrofractal. That's my money going towards it. But I don't know how much traffic the site itself gets. Most of it's on the social media, I'm sure. Yeah, that too. I mean, stolen art is already really difficult to deal with. Now it's like practically impossible with the AI stuff. I know. It's every platform people try and go to, it's screwing artists over. It's really, really frustrating and upsetting. And it's like, especially as an artist, like, I shouldn't have to also worry about, you know, curating. Like, yeah, if I had my own website and stuff, then I could control how I wanted to and stuff, and post what I want. But then you have the cost and the time cost of having to, you know, take care of all that yourself. And then you also have, you know, just, and stuff doesn't get shared as widely because it's not within, like, an already existing network. The problem is like, I don't know how you would fix that kind of issue with social media, because if it, like, people like, oh, have like a government run website, well, that has its own host of problems. Like, you definitely couldn't post anything not safe for work, for example, if you have a government owned website. Like, you'd have this very narrow definition of what can be posted. So yeah, there is Comic Fury. That's where I have Skybox hosted, actually. My domain for Skybox ran out for there, but the other link for it still works. Yeah, Skybox is on Comic Fury. Like, I was basically kind of like, because I actually went there because it had a good setup for, you know, customization of, you know, how to put stuff up. So I'm like, okay, I just want, you know, to set up my site as it is, and then I can post whatever, you know, the outcome for it, however I want. And yeah, I can do that. So that's what I use Comic Fury for. It's been pretty useful. I haven't touched it in a very long time, and still up. So yay! I hope this doesn't come to a point where it's like suddenly it gets taken down, because that would suck. But having not touched it for years at this point, it's still up. Even if my domain expired and I wasn't able to renew that. Yeah, it's a pretty good platform. Definitely good for comics anyway. Didn't cost me nothing. Ugh, I hate those deepfakes. I don't like that at all. Someone stole the art that I didn't make or own in the first place. No, I actually have heard some people complain about that. They're like, why are you stealing my stuff? It's like, it wasn't your stuff at all. What are you talking about? Because somebody stole the pizza you ordered doesn't mean you cooked that pizza. Talking of pizza again. Yeah, ugh. Honestly, I never thought they were super fun, I'll be honest. Even people like, haha, deepfakes. I'm like, oh, this is gonna go so bad. No, I don't like this at all. I really wish they would regulate AI stuff for that, if nothing else. Let's see, I wonder if... Ah, good grief, there's all this, like, tangled stuff going on. Should I think I might just do it this way so that I don't have to do that kind of thing. Yeah, there are some, like, there's, like, glaze and stuff like that, or nightshade to kind of poison stuff, but apparently the issue is, one, you know, this isn't going to work on all things, and two, it's really energy intensive. Like, the way the program runs is just, like, super duper intensive on your computer. It takes actually quite a while to, you know, glaze something or nightshade something. It's a bit of a computer strain, which is not ideal, especially if you're not using a really good computer. And is pretty much impossible on mobile. And some people make their art with mobile, so, you know, they should be able to protect themselves too. Claws are everywhere. Big claw. The girl of a claw. Yeah, yep, we knew that would happen. I'd like it to happen with AI too, but if it is, it's probably not going to happen in the same way, I'm guessing. I guess we'll see how it goes. Just this general devaluing of the work for it is not fun. Even then, that's still like, that's, you know, offloading the computation to somewhere else. Somebody's computer has to do it. Yeah, that's weird to me. I'm like, you're drawing this on your phone? How? How's there space with your little computer? I feel like my finger's too big on my phone. I don't have a big hand. I like being able to actually, you know, use a pen. Well, maybe they're doing that. Maybe they're using a pen on their phone, too. That can be kind of useful, especially for, like, you know, you know, drawing outside, going out doing some plein airs and stuff like that. Alright, thanks a bunch for coming to the stream. Always appreciate you being here. So we talk about crazy things. And Burbly, get freed. Get free, bird. What super duper sucks, I think, about AI art is, like, you ever dabbled in horror art, horror concepts before Eldritchrune? Probably not anything this big or this informal or this, you know, lengthy. You know, if I did do stuff, it was probably just, you know, on the side, like, ooh, I want to draw a spooky thing. But not any, like, big comics to that extent, I don't think. So this is a bit of an outside my usual wheelhouse. But in that sense, it's been fun. Just been a fun thing to do, waiting for more chapters. I'm like, okay, I already did like my big speculative what's going to happen next thing with Paper Trail. I don't really want to do that, a big speculative thing again. So I'm like, okay, let's just get a little wild and crazy, I guess. Well, I guess I have done some speculative, like, short comics, like the Deal with the Devil one. Well, that's kind of crazy. People will make art out of anything. That's pretty cool. And people are like, you know what? I'm gonna make art in you know, Microsoft Excel. I'm gonna make this art in Word, and it like looks amazing. And you're like, holy crap. Yeah, it's fun. That's what fanfic stuff should be for. Is like, is this gonna happen? Eh, not necessarily. Okay, I do what I want. And it is fun to do spoops, because yeah, I normally do not do spoops. Well, I have an ending in mind. I have no clue when or how I'm gonna get to it. So I'm like, shoot, should I wait for us to get more, you know, chapters eventually and tackle those too? Or should I actually, like, start on ending stuff whenever I want to? It's also kind of been weird doing it, like, less formal. Like, I'm just going to do this stuff in order, or out of order. And people are like, this isn't in order. And I'm like, I know. I didn't do it in order. I'm sorry. Please. I was not expecting it to be this much. I just goofed around and made it instead of writing an essay. It is incredible what you can accomplish when you're supposed to be accomplishing something else. So one of the things like, oh, I have to do, you know, this really important thing. I'm just gonna clean the house instead. Then your house is clean. You're like, well, that's nice, but also, I was supposed to do the other thing. Oops. Wah wah. Yeah, I do also like doing speculative stuff too. I definitely like indulging in those theorizings for future chapters. And part of me, there's like a part of me that wishes like, oh man, I wish I could do like theory videos on YouTube because that's what gets attention. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should just stick with, you know, this stuff because this is also fun. And there's definitely a genuine fear of like, oh, you're gonna get it super wrong. And people are going to laugh at you, or I don't know. Best procrastination by having an endless list of worst tasks to put off until later. Exactly. I can't do this worst task, so I guess I better do this slightly less bad task, and now it's done. When did I start on this? Okay, I think I got like 15 minutes before I take a break again. But it is fun speculating. You spend time figuring out which task to start. Before you know it, hours have gone by and you're like, I still haven't started the task. Ah! To-do list. Wash car, kill God. Unless you were doing that in like an RPG, in which case that might be the easier thing. Speaking of, shoot, I need to wash my car at some point. My problem is I don't use my car often enough. So I don't think about it, and I'm like, oh, I'll wash my car later. That's never. At this point, I probably need to take it to, like, you know, some professional, like, please wash my car. This has become too big a thing for me. My car is beyond help. Or you could do some research on God killing. Well, that's probably a rabbit hole that'll take a while. You'll have an e-scooter and you'll like it. See, I brought my car up from California when I moved. And even though I don't use it nearly as often here, I still use it sometimes. So, the problem is I literally have not washed it since I moved here. Alright, thanks a bunch for coming to the stream. Good luck in the other time zone. Time zone. Time zone. I don't know why I repeated that. Time zones are funky. No, there's not that much mileage on it. Yeah, that stinks. That's not fun. At least I know I can get by without my car if I need to. Like, if I still don't have very good tires on it or whatever. So, if it snows and I'm like, I can't drive in that. It's too snowy. Then, like, I can use, if I'm not, you know, SOL, I can walk places or use the train or something. So, that's nice. Again, coming from California, it's like, that was not a problem before. Yeah, it's so nice to not, like, it's nice to have my car if I need it. So I'm like, okay, if I need to, you know, go someplace that's kind of out of the way, I can drive there, and that's all good. But it's so nice to not have to use it, to, like, have a lot of what I need just within walking distance. Like, literally, it's like, okay, I need to go to the dentist. Well, it'll be just as fast for me to walk, so I'm going to walk to the dentist. Goodbye. Walk to the post office, walk to the grocery store. Oh, sheesh. Infrastructure. Please, put some money into that. Reasons why I really want to try and, I don't know, find a way to buy a place to live here, because, at least in this area, because it's really convenient. There's, again, all this stuff within walking distance. And then literally the other direction is like, there's the Sky Train. You can just take the train if you want to go someplace. Or, you know, take the bus if you want to. It's super, like, you don't realize, like, how nice it is to have that convenience until you're like, oh, wait a minute. I can walk to the mall and the bank. I don't have to drive a car. It's amazing. Oh, sheesh. Hey, that's some bad traffic, but at the same time, if you're getting a bicycle to do that, then that works. Actually, I wonder if my parents are in Texas right now. Probably not. They've been having to go a lot recently. No, I mean, I know why people freak out about the 15-minute cities thing, and it's conspiracy theory nonsense, but I will say, living in a place where I can walk to, you know, groceries and bank and post office and everything I need within walking distance is, like, just really, really nice. I imagine that. City stuff is expensive, unfortunately. Unfortunately. My parents have been in Texas frequently because trying to deal with stuff with my granddad who died last year, and he like left the house and all the stuff behind, so they're basically trying to deal with estate stuff, like, okay, what are we doing with all the property, what are we doing with the house, what are we doing with blah blah blah. And because my granddad pretty much had my dad listed as the person in charge of that, even though probably there would have some of his siblings would have been better choices for that. But so they've been having to make trips out to Texas frequently to take care of that, because my granddad's property was like, it's kind of remote. It was like 3 hours outside of was it Austin or Dallas? I think it was Dallas, or maybe it was Austin. I don't know. But anyways, way out in the country. But I gotta take care of all that now. At the very least, like, having driven other countries, American drivers are surprisingly considerate. Because I've driven in, like, Italy, and oh, that's terrifying. Mexico, also terrifying. Well, of course they do. Stands be stands. And there is something kind of nice about, like, a road trip sort of thing, where, like, you're going across big swaths of country, and, you know, you can see a lot of different places. There is a kind of romance in that, but it's also a thing of, like, this shouldn't have to be, like, how large groups of people live. They should be able to have access to things without having to have a car for it. And it sucks that, like, things have been engineered that if you don't have a car in most of the United States, then, like, you are really isolated and kind of screwed. So that part is not good. Yeah, like people like to complain about, oh, U.S. drivers, blah blah blah, it's terrible. Like, no, like, y'all haven't seen bad drivers. U.S. drivers are actually pretty okay. Same thing with, like, Canada drivers. Like, I got here and I'm like, oh, Canada drivers are so nice. They stop for, you know, pedestrians all the time. And I heard people being like, oh, Canada drivers, you know, here are awful. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, they're actually quite considerate, considering, you know, driving is kind of primed to make you inconsiderate just by its very nature. So, I don't know. I guess if you live someplace long enough, you only remember the bad stuff. The PS1 Cybertruck. What other PS1 vehicles can we create? I mean, like, the thing is that there are parks and entertainment some places. It's just a matter of, can you get them, and are teens allowed to be in them? Is the issue, I think. So, like, it used to be that, you know, a lot of big hangout space for teens was the mall. You would go to, you know, the mall in groups of teens, and you would just kind of hang out and stuff like that. And nowadays, even sometimes they won't let teens into the mall unsupervised. That's crazy. Drive an hour to get groceries. Ugh. I used to drive an hour to commute, and now I'm like, no, I don't want to go back into the office because I like not having to commute at all. I get up and I go for a walk in the morning, and then I sit down and do my work. Yeah, that's annoying. It's like, okay, if you're in a park, you're in a shared space. People might be doing stuff that you don't like. I do appreciate the fact that at least, like, in my neighborhood around here, people seem to use the public stuff all the time. Like, I go to the park, and it is, especially on the weekends, if it's a nice day, it is full of people, and they're, you know, running around doing stuff, having their barbecues. Saw somebody with kites once, walking their dogs, you know, go there for parties and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, I was at the library the other day because, you know, it's Pokemon stuff, and the library is always busy. There's a lot of, you know, kids and families and stuff there, so it can be busy. I'm thankfully doing okay. Thank you for asking. I was really worried that I would not be doing okay because I got food poisoning, or at least I think it was food poisoning last night, which super sucked. But luckily it was not as bad as I thought it would. I'm not at WildBrain anymore, but basically a lot of the animation companies around here now will give you the option to do full remote. They kind of want you to be into the office, but they're not making us do it right now. They're like, please come into the office, but you don't have to. It's fine if you're remote. I'm like, thank you, because I'm going to be remote now. Even though I know that, you know, socially it would probably be better for me to go into the studio and actually, like, talk to people. I'm already a social hermit. Yeah, I'm glad I got better, too. I was really worried it was going to be bad. Basically, if you missed my description at the beginning of the stream, I had a friend over yesterday. We were basically like, okay, we're gonna get some pizza and watch some spooky YouTube. It's gonna be fun. And so we got our pizza and our snacks, and we're watching YouTube. And by like the third video, I'm like, oh, I feel bad. I feel like kind of hot and nauseous, and my stomach feels weird. I don't like this. And I didn't want to say anything because I'm like, maybe I just ate too much candy and pizza. I'm getting old. It's not good for me. And no, we were watching My House.wad. It doesn't feel good for me, and so I mentioned it. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I feel kind of sick. And then she was like, no, I feel sick too. And she felt sick in the exact same way I did at the exact same time. And so we realized, oh shoot, we both ate this pizza. There's probably something wrong with the pizza. And we both felt so bad. We were like, okay, I guess we're going to stop. It had to have been food poisoning because we both felt nauseous and sick and weird. So her husband came by and got us some like meds and sugar drinks and stuff like that. And I'm like, I'm sorry, we got sick. Let's do this again later. And so I just went to bed. And I slept for a while, and luckily when I woke up, I was like, okay, I don't feel nauseous, that's good. And went for a walk and ate breakfast, and I'm like, okay, whatever it was not bad enough that we got super sick and threw up or anything. But it definitely felt like that for a while. It was not fun. So I almost didn't stream because I was like, oh, I feel good enough. And I'm like, okay, I feel okay, I can do it. But that sucked. I really did not like that. I thought it was just me. And I'm like, I'm getting old and I can't handle snacks anymore. But the fact that we both got sick at the same time with the same symptoms tells me that it was food poisoning. Yeah, ugh. I was so worried. I'm like, I'm going to throw up. I feel so bad. And luckily neither of us did. So we survived somehow. I think the dough on the pizza was undercooked a bit, and that made us feel bad. How often do you hang out with your friends when you were 15, 17? More often than I do now, I'll say that much. But also, like, it depends, because, like, I hung out with my best friend a lot in high school, and she literally lived across the street from me. So we would just, like, go to each other's houses and hang out. Because we were neighbors. So we would just like, hey, let's hang out. So we would just do a lot of stuff together. Because, you know, we were about the same age. We lived across the street from each other. And we would just hang out all the time. And our parents were fine with that. I would recommend it. If you have a good friend that is a neighbor who, like, lives close to you, like, go to each other's houses and hang out with them in person. You can eat, like, heck, you can even just do some parallel play. You can both be, like, on your laptops or whatever. But, like, being able to do that in person is just really nice. Yeah, mental health stuff makes it difficult. For sure. Like, I have some neighbor friends, not, like, in the same building as me, but like I have one friend who I need to meet up for coffee at some point, that is like a 10-minute walk from me. Like, she's in a different apartment building that's, you know, a ways away. And then I have another friend who is kind of, she's a little further, but she's like she's basically one train stop away. So if I wanted to, I can just hop on a train, or it's like, you know, a 5-minute drive. So if I want to go see her, it's not hard. So we can hang out too. But yeah, if you have a friend who is, like, across the street from you, hang out with them in real life. Like, do it. It's really good. I recommend it. Again, even if you're just doing like parallel play, even if you are both on your laptops doing whatever, like just being able to do that in the same room as your friend is really nice. I would recommend it. Well, even if you can't go a place, yeah, just be like, hey, you want to hang out at my house? We can just hang out in my room, and I'll put on a video and we'll do stuff together. If you can do it, I would recommend it. At least then at your own house, like, you don't have the expectation of having to pay money to be someplace. Also, as soon as I finish this page, I think I'm gonna do another stretch break and maybe grab one of the muffins I made for a quick snack. I've actually never been to Dave & Buster's either. I know of its existence, but I've not been there as an adult. Actually, I wonder if they have it up here. Probably. We get cool, badass Chris and Burbly. Okay. Time to stretch. Birdly actually gets to be cool in this one. He gets to do the thing. He gets to be obnoxious about it, but at least he gets to be cool. Yeah, that's a tough thing. It helps if you share some interests and all that stuff. And just have some things to talk about. And sometimes, people can drift in and out of interest too. Like, you become friends with somebody because you're like, oh, we're in the same interest together, and then they get different interests and stuff like that. But, it depends. You can still talk with people about that. Like, I have college friends that we definitely, hung out together a lot because we were into the same stuff. And then, as we got older, they got into different series than I did, so they have different fandoms than me. But at the same time, like, we can talk about, hey, what's going on with your life? How's work? And, oh, that's a really cool cosplay you did, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's still possible to talk to people, even if your interests have diverged a little bit. It does kind of suck when that happens. Like, it's not even like anybody's fault. It's just like sometimes, you just kind of go in different directions in terms of stuff you're interested in. And, when you have less to talk about, it's just kind of harder to do it when you have only so much time. Yeah, it's just a matter of finding things to talk about. And I guess as you are an adult, you're frenemies. But if you don't have things to talk about, then it has to be like kind of more small talk sort of things. Like, again, like, how's your work? How's your school? How's, life stuff? How's your family? How's your pets? There's places for it. It just might not be the same kind of, big fun convos you have with somebody that's, in your fandom or in your interest, stuff like that. It's possible, though. Again, that's kind of what happened with a lot of my college friends is we started in the same fandoms, drifted in different fandoms, but we still talk about our lives. And, okay, I will be right back. I'm going to eat a muffin very quickly. Elfies! You cannot have a muffin! No! Hey, I am returning. Wow. Whew. Wow. Muffins were a little dry, but that's okay. I will live. Well, I think most of us were raised around at least some adults. That's also why it's like, you know, kind of a good thing to be exposed to a lot of different age groups when you are young, because then you know how to talk to a lot of different people. Okay. Back to whatever's going on in here. Yep. Oh, right. That's my pronouns. My Shadow the Hedgehog and Knuckles pronouns. Yeah, I can't type right whenever I type these things. I was not raised around adults. I was only raised around bears in the forest. Man, it was so cool when we were at, my mom and I went up to Whistler. Was it last year? I think it might have been last year. Yeah, I think it was last year. We were going up, the big gondola that takes you to the top of the mountain. And I looked down, and there was this mama black bear with 2 bear cubs walking around. We were like, oh, look at the bears! And they were like way below us, so they were nowhere close to us. But yeah, it was a mama black bear and 2 bear cubs. And they were traipsing up the mountain. It was really cool. I think that's the only time I've seen a bear in the wild. Otherwise, I've only seen bears in the zoo. And that's probably as close as I want to get to a bear in the wild. But it was really cute. Especially a mama bear. I not want to be too close to a mama bear. Is the California grizzly extinct? I mean, I figured it'd be at least endangered. I know there's grizzly bears of various kinds around, but I wouldn't be surprised if the California one was. They think they are raccoons. I don't know. Their bears are just opportunists. They're like, oh, look, trash. This could be food. Here I go. Who's gonna stop me? I'm a bear. Queen, you have too many giant horns. Too many. Watch, it's gonna be one of those things where it's like there's been secretly a California grizzly hiding out somewhere the whole time. We're like, wait, we haven't seen you since the 1920s. That has happened with some animals. Well, admittedly, it's a little harder to, you know, hide a bear. Not impossible, just harder. So it's really hard to draw Birdley's big beak. Prohibition bear. From this angle. Swellicanth, the man, the myth, the legend. I always thought it's pronounced Coelacanth. Apparently it's like Swelacanth? Doesn't mean nobody. Swelacanth. I can't remember how it was supposed to be pronounced. Yeah. Birdley, your big stupid beak is too hard to draw from this angle. You and your big mouth. Coelacanth. What is it? I have to look up one of those pronunciation book things where it's like weird and stuff like that. Coelacanth. So it was coelacanth. Huh. Words they definitely don't tell you how to pronounce and probably don't pronounce for you anyway. Yeah, it could be like a coelacanth. Those are pretty cool. Coelacanth, Helacanth, Speaklacanth. No, Coelacanth no evil, Speaklacanth no evil, Helacanth no evil. That's how people remember how to pronounce it. I always like catching those in Animal Crossing. I'm like, yeah, I got the big old fish. It's super rare. Aww. Oh no, poor dog. Oh, I'm sorry about that. Small dogs do have a habit of being like, well, I gotta make up for my size by being extra ferocious. And it's like, no, you were not made to be ferocious. Poor dog. Hopefully they're okay. Alfies, you would not fight a dog. You would run away. You would go and hide. Actually, no, you would puff your beard and then you would go and hide. You'd be like, no! Look at how big my face is! Leave me alone! I make my face big at you! Yeah. You gotta be careful. That's why usually you should have a dog on a leash if you're out in a big public space. Oh, dang. No, Alfie's would not take down a dog. She would not at all. She is just a little girl. She's just a little lizard. They're not made for fighting. They are made for making their faces look big and then running away. My face is big. Go away forever. And eating bugs, that too. Oh no, dog. Oh, puppy. Gotta take care of that. I think one of our dogs had fleas once and we tried the vinegar water thing. I don't know if it quite worked. Maybe it did, maybe in conjunction with other medications, I don't know. I was so upset. Like, I normally really like dogs. Like, I would say I'm a dog person. But, like, I was in the park once. I'm sure I've told this story. I was in the park once. You know, I was playing Pokemon Go. I was minding my own business. And all of a sudden, this really big dog just comes running up to me. And this was not like a friendly, I want to say hi, running up. This was, I'm angry and I'm going to, you know, yell at you about it kind of thing. Like, it comes up barking and growling at me, and like the owner is like across this field, like yelling it to come back. The dog is off the leash and it's just like woo 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 at me, and then I'm just like, holy crap, what can I do? Like, I'm just kind of standing there and like, oh, you know, not making eye contact with it. You know, if I run, that's going to be a bad idea. So I'm just really hoping this thing doesn't try and lunge at me. Clearly aggressive dog, and like just barking at me while I'm sitting here minding my own business doing nothing. And eventually the guy got, you know, yeah, there's your barking for the day. And eventually the guy got the dog to come back to him and be like, hey, squirrel, come over here. But like, he was calling this dog's name and it was not listening to him. And I really did not like that. I'm like, dude, if you cannot control your dog that way, then you need to keep him on a leash. I should not have to be worried that your dog is going to attack me when I am doing literally nothing to provoke him except standing here. And he decided that I was, you know, worth screaming at. Because that was really upsetting. So I did not like that at all. I felt more safe when I ran into that coyote. So I'm like, at least the coyote is like clearly not wanting to bother me, but this dog wanted to get in my face and wanted to, you know, wanted to throw hands. And I didn't, you know, I was not going to throw hands with this big dog that clearly could seriously mess me up. So keep your dog on a leash, especially if they have that aggressive nature in them. Throw a roadrunner at the coyote. Yeah, no, it was legit scary. It is like legit scary. Again, I like dogs. I like animals in general. I am a dog person. I did not like that feeling of this dog that was clearly, again, you can tell the difference between a dog that is happy and a dog that is not. This was not a happy dog, and I was not a happy camper being like, what am I supposed to do? Come control your dog, please. Don't yell at it from across the field, because clearly this is not working. Ugh. So, what was he like? Happy jumping, or was he like aggressive jumping? Because there's definitely a difference. Like sometimes, like dogs will get people's faces, and like they don't know their boundaries. They're like, I want to see you. I'm gonna jump up and see you. But then there's also like dogs that are looking to attack. They're being aggressive. Yeah, like some dogs are, a lot better around people than others, and some are really not. Huh, weird. Like, one dog that my parents had, this poor dog had a lot of problems. She was gotten out, she was a rescue from off the street, she was part pit bull. Been probably abused in several ways. She, wanted to be left alone. She did not like people. She especially did not like men. And she really did not like other dogs. Like, other dogs would just absolutely upset her a lot. So we had to have her on the leash all the time. And, keep a careful eye on her, because she would, lunge at other dogs. Just be like, hey, leave me the hell alone. I don't like you, kind of thing. And there was one, but the thing was she was, really aggressive around everybody, but around children, she was very calm and quiet and collected. She had no problems with children. And so it was kind of funny. One day I had her out for, a walk or whatever. I had her on the leash. And there was a woman across the street. I don't think she was, from here. And she had she had a little kid on one of those backpack leashes, basically like a leash that's attached to a backpack, to keep your kid from running off, whatever. Little weird, but whatever. And so she was walking around, and I guess our dog saw somebody on a leash, and she was like, oh, I'm gonna give this person such a barking, and she's getting her hackles up, striding over there ready to, bark at this thing on the leash. Oh, you can't be here, I hate you. And then she gets there and realizes this is a child, not a dog. And she just kind of sheepishly, looks at them like, oh, false alarm. You're not a dog. You are a child. Never mind. I will be quiet now. So, that was one funny story with her, at least. No. You scared of them, yeah. I guess in that sense she was living up to her name, because pit bulls were apparently bred as nanny dogs. Like, they were supposed to be dogs that watched kids. And that's kind of why some people can train them to be so aggressive, is like, if you bother their kids, bother their puppies, they'll mess you up. And so people have focused more on the mess you up part than the take care of kids part. But that is originally what pit bulls were bred for. They were bred to be nannies. They were bred to guard children. So, I think that's a little bit of her instinct in there. She was very quiet and protective of children. Really did not like everybody else. Like, basically, we had a next door neighbor, and he had a dog that was also, weirdly enough, breed-wise, he was like a golden retriever, but he was not a nice golden retriever. He was aggressive. He set off all the other dogs in the neighborhood because he was putting out that aggressive kind of vibes, basically. So anytime that our neighbors would open the front door, our dog would just be like, boo! Like this big bellowing howl, because she was part pit bull, so she had this giant barrel chest that she could just bellow with, and she would just howl her head off because the neighbor's dog is going to come out. I'm going to scream about it so much every time. Afghan hounds. Oh, poor Afghan hounds. Longing Sluppy. Oh no. Dog frenemies. Dogs should not be frenemies. They should be good boys. It is a tragedy when a dog is not a good boy or a good girl. Because dogs are lovely. But sometimes they have hard lives and are not treated very well. And as a result, things go badly. Like the previous next door neighbors we had, before the other ones with the aggressive dog. No, owls were not very smart. Like the one that probably attacked me in the woods and hit me in the head. I don't like that. I'm pretty sure that was an owl. It hit me in the head. I haven't gone to the park in the dark since then. Because that was really scary. And I'm pretty sure that was an owl. It attacked me. Attacked me right in the head. Queen's like, bah! Or I'll say plugs his ears at that. Yeah, we had one neighbor that different from the neighbor that had the aggressive dog. This was a neighbor that was like, he was in Japanese studies, I think, and he adopted this dog that had clearly been abused really badly. And this dog pretty much only liked and trusted my neighbor. Like, she was the one person that she really loved. Everybody else, her name was Blossom. Everybody else, this dog was just terrified of. She did not want to be around people. So, you know, sometimes my neighbor would, you know, be out of town. He's like, can you walk Blossom today? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So, you know, I'd get the key and I'd go over to walk the dog. And I'd be like, hi, Blossom, how are you doing? And that poor dog is just standing there shivering like it's freezing out, just shaking in her boots. This poor dog. Whatever happened to her, just like, must have been the worst things ever. And I'm like, okay, Blossom, we're going to go for a walk now. And, you know, carefully put on, you know, her leash, take her out. And she'd walk fine, but she just, was a poor, nervous wreck of a dog. Unless it was around my neighbor who she really loved. Caro. Yeah, some birds get super protective of their nests. It's pretty nuts. I'm pretty sure that's what happened with that owl that attacked me in the park. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure it was an owl, because one, it was really early in the morning and it was still dark, which is when they're active. And two, you know, I'm walking through the park and I didn't hear anything. So, like, owls are really quiet flyers, and two, they're really protective of their nests. So I might have just walked too close to an owl nest, and it's like, target acquired. Die! Aww. Oh, poor puppy. Oh, poor dogs. Oh, they make their nest on the ground. That's even harder then, because, like, you know, if you're just walking around and you stumble near their nest, now they're like, and now you die. Splash. Acid splash. Yeah, they were describing, I don't think they were describing an owl. I think they're describing a different kind of bird. Spikes on the wings. Good grief. This is like those spiked catfish or whatever. Those Louisiana catfish that, like, have a spike on their heads. That I learned about when I was working on that one shrimping show. Some animals are just like, I have spikes for no reason other than to mess you up. Yeah, the lionfish you're supposed to spear them. This was a catfish. And sometimes the spikes are not even necessary. Like, Alfie's has all these spikes on them, but except for like one line of spikes on like the back of her head, most of her spikes like don't hurt to touch. They're just kind of soft. They're just there to look a little spooky. Like the ones on the back of her head are kind of pointy and sharp, and her claws are pointy and sharp, and so are her teeth. But like most of her spikes are there for show mostly. They're kind of soft, and you just kind of rub along them, and it's like, oh, that was a soft spike. The wings are like nails, but floppy. I'm sharpening my wings to mess you up. Nature's weird. Oh, the feathers. I thought they had like spikes kind of like Eldritch Birdley has here. Like kind of like claws, fingers from vestigial fingers from whenever. Yeah, I guess the problem is it's kind of hard to get people to like invasive species that are messing things up for everything else, unless you know what to look for. It's kind of an issue. That's a little bit of an issue here with I think it's Japanese beetles are a problem. Like I've seen some signs around certain parts of Vancouver here where it's like, if you see Japanese beetles, kill them and tell people you did that. Please let us know if you see a Japanese beetle and kill it and tell us. Like there are some signs pointed around. I think those are an invasive problem species that have been destroying stuff. Martlet's attacks do hurt quite a bit. Oh, wait, I think there is lantern bugs, but I think here it's something else. Like, I know that lantern bugs are a problem in certain parts of the U.S. Maybe it's also lantern bugs here, but I thought it was Japanese beetles here. But maybe it's also lantern bugs. I don't think it is, though. Maybe I'm misremembering and conflating these two stories. That is entirely possible. Weevil's the silly beetle. Oh, weevils you're going to find everywhere, and those are kind of normal to find, to my understanding. Even if unhappy. They're silly because they hide in your rice and your grains, and you're like, no! My grains! There was bugs in my grains! No, I have had that happen. Where I like get a bag of rice, and I'm like, oh no! The bugs have found my grains! Ah! That's not fun. I also thought that like rabbits were a problem in Australia. Just like regular house rabbits. Like a bunch of them got out and then they're like, oh no, it turns out they're an invasive species. Ah! Rabbits and cats. Well, feral cats are probably a problem everywhere. You're not supposed to let your cats out. Bad for the cat. And the problem is sometimes, like, that happens whether you want it to or not. Like, I have some of my friends, keep a lot of cats. And they had one cat who, despite their best efforts, would just escape. He would get out of the house. He was like a little miniature Black Panther. He would get out of the house all the time and, like, roam around and stuff. They tried to keep him in and just, he wasn't having it. And, unfortunately, he had a time when he just didn't come back home. It's not safe. And we also had some neighbor cats where they didn't even try and keep the cats inside. They were like, no, the cats are fine to roam outside. Those cats always died really early from, like, a coyote or a rattlesnake or something. Or getting hit by a car. Basically, keep your cats indoors. Well, speaking of outdoors, I can't wait until it's warm enough for me to let Alfie's out and get some sunshine. I'm kind of debating, getting her a little harness. Maybe I have her walk around a little bit. So they do make harnesses for lizards. And while she has her UV light, getting some actual sunlight would probably be very good for her. Get that vitamin D. I can't believe I'm only on page 6. Going very slowly, it feels like. Yeah, we're making good progress, so. It's happening. I'm so gonna forget where I put all the special lines in this. Yeah, definitely not fun. Also glad no mice around here recently. I have had problems with no mice in the past. And I like mice in general, but I do not like them in my house. On their own. Eating my stuff. Like, you're not allowed to do that, mice. Yeah, it's like, if you're gonna be here eating my stuff, you better start paying rent. Unless you were like, you know, the great mouse detective and have little mouse jobs. I'm guessing that's not happening. Like, oh yeah, we have little mouse jobs, it's just not in human currency. And you're like, dang it! Tiny Weevil dollars left in your mailbox. Thanks for the rice! I don't know, I imagine there's some arachnophobic people in Australia. You just gotta be very careful. Spooters. Spoopers. No! Why did you bring capitalism to the monkeys? Why would you do that? Then again, I guess it's a little different because, like, we're still the ones controlling the, you know, if we give the monkeys, like, you know, here's your cucumbers and grapes, and you get them if you do this, then, you know, we're kind of still in control of the supply there. Monkeys, no! I wonder if it would work if they introduced capitalism to bonobos, because aren't the bonobos like those chill monkeys, chill apes? They're like, nah man, we don't care, we're just gonna hang out and eat fruit. Or whatever it is we do as bonobos. The bonobos are like, alright then, we'll do it for sex. Okay, bonobos. Well, I guess that is the profession you can have as a monkey. I'm not sure what other options you have available. Queen yells. I was kind of worried she's gonna look too much like Papyrus because of the jaw. Maybe one day we will eventually see a Deltarune Papyrus. In this essay, I will. Show us the Deltarune Papyruses. Multiple of them, apparently. I don't know why. for sleep. Once again, the sense of scale is working against me. Maybe another day, maybe another few years. Exactly. Thanks, Sans. You're so helpful. Also, Sans, how do you know the time is acting like this, aside from it being a joke? And again, Susie comments on it too. She's like, waiting you felt like years. And I'm like, yeah, it did. Maybe they'll make another joke about that in chapter 3, like, wow, feels like it's been years since I went to bed. What happened in that time? Chapter 4, they're like, oh, at least it feels like a normal time now. They all joke on it. They're all mocking us like, oh, you've been waiting a while? Yep. And that's the nature of it. Game development takes a while. It's a time-consuming process. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure it is. I'm pretty sure Toby's like, no, I want it to be done as well. That stuff takes time to do right, so you gotta take the time for it. It's the taking the time for it that makes it so good. Oh, thank you. It is fun to do like a cape that makes no sense. Like here, I was just going all weird and all over the place. Make it extra badass flowy. How do I want Papyrus to act? I want him to be funny. Like, even if he's different from Undertale, I just hope that he's, like, a funny guy. And that we enjoy whatever he says. Just don't be annoying. Be funny. Which I'm pretty sure he can manage. Just a funny little fella. I know some people are big into, like, you know, Night Papyrus, and I'm like, nah. Like, I wouldn't mind if that was the case, but I don't think that's the case for him. Yeah, no, don't have Incel Papyrus. No, don't do it. I don't think they're gonna do that again. I'm pretty sure they scrapped that for a reason. So, I don't think that's gonna happen. Imagine dragons. Imagine radioactive papyrus. Oh no. I'm imagining so many dragons right now. I'll tell you what though, if Papyrus was like half human sort of thing, like from my crack theory, I would just absolutely scream my head off. Be like, what of all things that was correct? It was that one. No, how did this happen? I would scream a lot. Just have internet friend. He needs some real friends. Hitband, picture mentally flying reptile. Pirates is a fan of the Hitband. Picture mentally flying reptiles. What an odd band name. Here's I guess the question though. What would Papyrus's goal be? Since there's no Royal Guard for him to want to get into. Like that was his big thing. He's like, I want to get into the Royal Guard and be popular. But if there's no Royal Guard in Deltarune, what does he want to do? How does he want to be popular? Can he achieve that popularity? Well, let's see if we can finish this page and then I will do another stretch. Why did I choose this angle? Maybe just wanting friends and popularity in general? Working for the mayor? What would he do for the mayor? Also, hello, thank you for coming. We are making progress on this part. Slowly yet surely. It's just taking a while, but that's okay. Yeah, if Papyrus wanted to work for the mayor, what would he do? Already seems like she's got kind of plenty of help around, at least in the office. Papyrus does believe working with power structures equal popularity. Or would he also be like, oh, Undina's so cool, I want to be a cop? Which would kind of suck, but would be consistent. But then be like, there's not much to do around here, Papyrus. They don't even have, like, a bank to rob. Like, why do they have a jail cell, but they don't have a bank? Oh, well. Oh, great. I don't like that. That's not fun at all. That's what I would call a bad thing. Well, I don't know if there's actually a leprosy vaccine, is there? Maybe. I thought that was a bacterial infection. So I guess you'd be antibiotics for that kind of thing? I don't know. Okay. So, not for that specifically, but something else. Ugh. Oh man, speaking of vaccines, at some point I really need to get a vaccine, shingles vaccine. Like, I'm approaching the age where I need that, so I need to be like, hey, please let me get that vaccine. I keep forgetting about it. It's not like an urgent thing like COVID, so I keep forgetting, but I know I really need to get that, because I would be susceptible to that. Ugh, yeah, I had chickenpox. I had a really, really bad case of chickenpox when I was a kid. Like, it was very bad. And they didn't have chickenpox vaccine when I was a kid, so that's why I got it. But apparently, it's if you have had chickenpox, that's how you get shingles. So I'm like, oh no. So I gotta get a vaccine for that at some point. He's like, ah, you stabbed me in the face, Chris. Right in the eyeball. But she's still alive. I am a burb. Yeah, like, my aunt was supposed to go on with us on a cruise, on a Disney cruise back in like 2019, and she had to cancel because she suddenly got shingles. Jeepers creepers, right in the peepers. Exactly. Why would you stab me in the face? Super rude. Super rude. But now you are a winner. What happened to my pet ant? No, my aunt is in my family member. As in The sibling of one of my parents. not as in the insect. My pet ant. I have never owned a pet ant. I feel like if I was going to have a pet ant, I would need a whole host of them. That they are not solitary animals. They are eusocial insects. They need lots of them. Enjoy what you want. If you want to enjoy Fortnite, go for it. But no, my aunt, that was not my pet, but is my familial relationship, was supposed to go with us on a cruise, and she got shingles and was unable to go. And that sucked. Which is why, get your vaccines. Sometimes you just need a little dopamine game. My little play randomly games are usually all stuff on Flight Rising. I gotta breed my dragons and get them familiars and all that stuff. Well, her acid is all cracking up. Dragon City. Candles and Curses? I do not know that one. Webkins and Moshi Monsters. Yeah, I was born too late for the big things like Neopets and Gaia Online and what are some other big ones? You know, Club Penguin. I almost worked on Animal Jam. That was kind of weird. Like, when it was first starting out, I got contacted by somebody. I don't forget who, and they're like, we need some artists for, you know, this MMO game that we're starting with, like, you know, National Geographic and stuff like that. So I was like, okay, I'll give that a shot. And, like, you know, I tried to submit some art for it. I didn't get the job, but one of the other things I was doing for it was, like, doing some really early beta testing for it. So I, like, made my little wolf character, and I was kind of, you know, wandering around the game, and, like, immediately some child, like, started, like, being like, oh, I really like your wolf, we should be in a romance. And I'm like, but I'm what? Who are you? So that was my experience with Animal Jam, was very, very brief beta testing. I got the proper Animal Jam experience. I didn't even get to the point where you have to, like, rares and stuff. Alright, thanks a bunch for coming to the stream. Appreciate you being here. Some kid wanted to romance. They did want a romance. I mean, romance is a verb as well as a noun. It is both of those things. Oop, and it is now time. Oh, I gotta draw a birdly flying away. Being a birdly. They wanted to romance my blue wolf that I made kind of offhandedly in the beta version of Animal Jam. Now it's like, okay, small child. But I didn't stay long enough to do much. Sorry, child. Your blue wolf Romeo abandoned you because I didn't get a job at Animal Jam. That's okay. Yeah, I do like the style of that game. It's got a neat art style. It succumbed to the you know, the ills of capitalism like all of those games do, but the art style is pretty cool. They did good with that. Okay, as soon as we finish this, we'll take another stretch break. At least we got this one done. Birdly gets to be cool for once. Huzzah! Building the map in Minecraft. Oh, like the Animal Jam world map or something? Like when I was beta testing it, like, I don't know, 20 years ago or whatever, got through 4 years. Wow, cool. I think there was there was basically one hangout area and one, like, play some mini games area, and then you could have your den, and that was, like, the extent of it. There wasn't much there when I was poking around at it. So because I didn't hear anything back about it, I was like, okay, whatever, I kind of moved on with my life, and then later I watched, the Izzy's video on Animal Jam, and I'm like, wait, all this stuff happened in Animal Jam after it actually came out? Cool. But yeah, I missed a lot of those big games. Oh, it's all good. Conversation goes where it needs to. Nothing wrong with Animal Jam. But yeah, so the extent of, like, pet simulator games or multiplayer pet simulator games I've done has just been Flight Rising. And that one, you really don't have to interact with the social element at all. It's a lot more pet raising than it is, like, social stuff like Webkins or Club Penguin or all that kind of stuff. So I'm just like, okay, I'm going to try and get familiars here. Although I'm sure there's a bunch of them that I just cannot get. They're too expensive or too rare. But that's okay. There are other methods for it. Stretch. I feel like there used to be so many more of those, like, kids, big social pet simulator games. Yeah, the economies in those is always so insane. Alright, be right back for one more stretch. Girl, you're still out. No. Alright, I'm returning. No, thank you. It's my affiliate anniversary. Thank you so much for the little hat. I appreciate it. I took a big swig there. But yeah, I actually got because I had the wild idea to make like a big social pet simulator game. I didn't really follow through on it, but I was kind of doing art for it, planning for it. But in kind of prep for that, I got a book on game economies, and that was very fascinating. Maybe you were in this community a year ago. Time is super fake. But yeah, I got like a book on game economies, and that was pretty fascinating. It's probably way outdated by now, but it had some interesting ideas even back at the time it was written. Basically explaining like regular economies and then going into like, hey, here's how a lot of game economies have worked. Here's how they can operate, blah, blah, blah. You've been here 2 years. Passage of time. Ooh, I like this version of the song. And generally, I guess the thing with game economies is the ideal thing you want is like kind of gentle inflation, because you want some inflation because basically if you have deflation or if there's nothing changing, then like it's really hard to get new players into the economy because stuff's too expensive. So basically, keeping up with gentle inflation is a good way to like make sure that new players can onboard well enough. But generally, what happens is with those game economies is you just get wild out of control inflation, where stuff is worth like bajillions of coins or gold or whatever it is. Okay, so yeah, it has been about a year for you. That's pretty cool. Ugh, time is weird though. That was probably a point where I could have used some more reference for hand pose here. It does feel like it was just yesterday. Stanley Parable! That's right, maybe I was playing Stanley Parable back then. Stanley! Laughing my butt off at the bucket. And she backflipped all the way to work. Like, that was so funny. Why was it like that? We're weeks away. It's so good. I love you, Stanley Parable. You're hilarious. I remember being fascinated by, like, the very first version of Stanley Parable that came out when it was basically, I think, like a Half-Life mod, and it had like 6 endings pretty much. It was just made out of like reused Half-Life assets or something like that. The Jim button, yes. This is the button where if your name is Jim, you can press it and it says your name, Jim. Jim. Wait, this isn't the game. This is a game where you press a button that says 8. Also, I think another part I cried laughing at was the I made this video in Windows Media Maker of you finding the Stanley figurine. You found it by the doors. Just, it's so good. I love that video. Like the rock music and the default font. Like, produced by the narrator. Made by the narrator. And also Stanley. No, that's the things you can't be afraid of making bad art. You can't be afraid of it. It's okay to make bad art. It's okay to do it. That was a normal part of art making. A presidential dating sim. Is Jimmy Carter on the list? We need to be able to date Jimmy Carter. That's important. Okay, good. That's my pick, Jimmy Carter. No, Reagan! That's the bad route. Dun dun. Also, you need to have, what's his name? That it was only in office for, like, a month before he died of, like, hypothermia. And then, his route ends with him dying horribly. The I could fix him route. No. I'll make it so he doesn't take the solar panels off the White House. Sir, stop getting your ideas from the horoscopes. But hey, if it worked with pigeons, it can work with anything. Can't be any weirder than that Undertale fan game that's been going on in Andrew Cunningham's streams, which is extremely funny and extremely weird. I don't even know if it's a dating game technically. It's kind of more of a visual novel, but oh my goodness, it's so funny. That one was so nuts. It's so weird. I love that little animation that they did with it. Fuck off, Gaster, fuck off. I missed what he was saying, because Gaster. It was just really good. Yeah, I know part of me feels bad too, but it's just so fascinating. It's so fascinating. It's fascinating seeing, like, what works and what doesn't, because there are parts of it where it's like, wait a minute, that's an interesting idea. And then there's other parts of it, like, where you're like, but why did you take it in this direction? Like, I don't know. I think, I do understand that, like, there's something a little off about making fun of other people's art. I used to do that all the time, and now I, like, look back on that, that time that I did that, and I'm like, you know what, that was not good of me to do. That wasn't a good use of my time. It's a fine line to balance yourself on, and so I can totally understand, you know, not wanting to make fun of somebody's, you know, fan project for free. But at the same time, it is very fascinating when you're like, these choices you made, why did you make these choices? The world is full of many, many people. And sometimes they make choices that are like, but why this one? How strange. I'm sure there's stuff with Eldritchrune people who are like, why are you making these choices? That's weird. And I'll be like, heck if I know. I'm just drawing this stuff. I guess all you can do is hope your choices resonate with someone. And they pretty much almost always were. I'm sure there's people that, like, really do like that game. Again, there are some fascinating ideas in it. Yeah. And it's kind of hard to find, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you like make a choice and you're like, it makes sense in your head when you make it. And then you look back and you're like, but why did I do that? Wait a minute. And sometimes also, like, you know, you make a choice that sounds good at the time, and then with time and then, you know, space to it, you're like, okay, that wasn't the best choice. Like, again, I look back on stuff with, like, Dogs of Future Past, and while I'm happy with it overall, looking back on it, I think if I were to redo it now, I would change how stuff goes with Kara and Sans specifically, because I think it falls too much into the tropes of, like, oh no, Sans remembers the resets and Kara's super evil and they're kind of opposed to each other. Like, it was too much into that thing, which is not how canon goes, pretty much. So Sans remembers their genocides. Exactly. So, I would change that if I could. But those were the choices I made at the time, because I'm like, oh, this makes sense. And then you go back to it later and you're like, oh, wait a minute. But actually it doesn't make sense. But it did to me at the time. And there's just nothing you can do about that. And that's okay. It does not have to be perfect forever. Or even at all. And it's also, like, nice to get that kind of, like, you know, new perspective on stuff, you know, that people's analysis of things changes over time. I'm sure that will happen with Deltarune too. I'm positive it will. Chris, you're too small in this picture. Why are you so small? How did I get so small? But yeah, if I could go back and do that stuff with Dogs Future Past again, I'd probably change that. Because I don't think that's actually accurate now to how Sans or Kara probably talk or act. Especially around each other. Like, I feel like I barely even started to get the hang of Kara, like, you know, by the Kara Origins thing. So it's like, okay, why do they act this way? Oh, traumatized child. Oh, hello, thank you for the thoughts of anniversaries. Yeah, it was very popular fan, so it's the kind of thing where it just kind of, like, gets absorbed into your brain. And you're like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And so you really don't think otherwise until, like, you have somebody else being like, no, think otherwise. And you're like, oh, huh. Interesting. I am still streaming. We're still going. Can probably go for at least another little session or so. I'm not going to be able to finish everything in this part, but we're on page 7. That's not too bad. See how far we get with it. Well, we're still at the top of page 7. How you zoom in and out of the canvas on your screen? Hold down Z. Yeet. and move my pen back and forth. I have my keyboard right in front of me. That's what I use for my hotkeys. I know there's ways you can do that on a tablet, but I don't remember what they all are. Kind of depends on your setup. Like, there are lots of different ways you can set up hotkeys, but I have a keyboard on my left-hand side, and so I hit my hotkeys with my left hand. Yeah, that's how I do it in Photoshop anyway. It might be different depending on the program you're using. But like you can see, like I hit Z, that's my hotkey for zoom. And so I can just kind of push in and out. Ouch, those keys are hot. Those are some hot keys. Yeah, so basically some move. Yes, move is just spacebar, so if I want to move it around, spacebar. If you want to increase or decrease your brush size, brackets up, brackets down, increase, decrease brush size, that's a major one. If you want to do straight lines, unfortunately you can only do horizontal, vertical. Hold down shift. I do appreciate the fact that in Storyboard Pro you can do straight lines in any direction just holding down shift, but in Photoshop they only let you do it horizontal, vertical. And what other ones? You know, aside from, you know, save, which I should do. You know, edit, undo, all that kind of stuff. Easy one to figure out. But yeah, being able to do, you know, resize the canvas is very important. And for some unknown reason, this version of Photoshop does not let me rotate the canvas. For that, it used to be I would hold down R and push it around. And now it won't let me do that. It yells at me about when I try and do that, which is actually really annoying because there are definitely times when I want to rotate the canvas and it won't let me. So I've just had to kind of like deal with that. I don't like it. Yep. I don't really use the buttons on my tablet pen, to be honest. I mostly just use the keyboard shortcuts. That's just how it be. Maybe I'll do this in special lines just in case. And yeah, technically if I wanted to I could like turn this around and like erase with it, but I usually honestly I usually just don't even do that much. I just kind of switch to an eraser, which I can do with like, again, hotkey. Yeah, that makes sense. If you don't have room for keyboard, then you got to do everything in the tablet as much as possible. But no, I do all my drawing on my desktop, so I have a nice big space for my keyboard and everything. And my mouse. My new mouse I had to get because the last one died. Died a sad, sad death. Oh, college dorms. Never enough room. Especially if you're using something that's like, you know, supposed to be portable. You really got to be creative. But yeah, mostly I use keyboard shortcuts when I want stuff like that. There you go. It really is so much easier drawing directly on the tablet. Like, I spent many years using, like, you know, an Intuos or whatever, drawing on the tablet, and it's, you know, on a different screen. And that's kind of its own skill set. It took me a little while to get used to. Oh, I was doing this on the wrong layer, wasn't I? I was! No! Oh, I was doing so much of it on the wrong layer. Oh, no. Okay, I'm going to have to see here. If I can... Let's, I think it's this much. And this is all. No, let's, do a bit more there. How much of this was on? Oh, wait, on this one. X that off. Switch. I know, turn on the wrong layer song. Oh, what's the wrong layer? The wrong layer song. We're very, very sorry that we got it wrong. It can be saved, fortunately. We saved it. Yay! Okay, correct layers this time. I just realized, wait a minute, I'm on special lines. No! Yeah, having a pressure sensor makes a big difference, too. It's okay, we saved it. Okay. Here he come to grab the thing. No, I want things on certain layers. Those are going to be colored lines. I want the rest of my iced tea, too. Yeah. Yeah, just, it's really nice being able to draw on directly on a tablet. It's just like, it becomes a speed thing. Speed and comfort. Okay, yeah, sure. My brush is just a custom brush that you can make from like the primary main brush Photoshop has. Like, I literally just took Photoshop's main brush and tweaked it a bunch. So I just have to like look up the specs that I did for how I did that. I can pass those on to you, and then you can literally just make the brush yourself. It's nothing super special. I just like it because it has kind of a rough texture to it. Kind of makes it feel more like a pencil. Yeah, it's just a modified primary brush. Now, not all of my brushes are that way. I've got a bunch in here I use that I got from other places that I didn't make myself. Either I got them from a teacher, or I bought them, or they're part of another pack or something like that. Yeah, I used it I made it with like Photoshop specs, so it might not have worked in other programs. Oh, sheesh. Yeah, that's unusual. Most people, like, this is a professional tablet. Most people cannot afford that, especially high schoolers. I did not get a... When did I get a Cintiq? Honestly, I think it was like when I was well into college, if not out of college. But also, Cintiqs were kind of new when I was growing up. Like, heck, Wacoms were new. I got like a really nice Intuos when I was in high school, and this was basically a big birthday gift from my grandparents, and also especially because I was having serious wrist pain. Oh, sorry. I'll withhold on the tips until the ads are done. Yeah, that's a problem. Because the thing is, like, you don't to make good art, you don't need, like, the best supplies or anything like that. You really don't. I think the thing about having nice supplies for art is, you know, especially in a professional sense, is that it's a time saver. It's there, like, it's not gonna, you know, impact your skill at all. What it will impact is your speed. And that's why it's important for, like, professional stuff, because speed is important in professionalism. But if you're just drawing stuff, then, like, you know, speed is not necessarily the most important thing. But basically, like, having better supplies does not... Yeah, I will reiterate now that the ads are done. Having better supplies does not impact your skill. Having better supplies impacts your speed. Yeah. Better supplies are not the end-all be-all. They are certainly nice to have, but if you can't afford them, you are not a worse artist for it. I will just say that right now. And again, the only reason why I have these nice supplies is because I do this professionally. I use this for work. That is why I can afford it. And because I've been using it for a really long time, so I am used to it. Like, if you wanted me to, like, start on, like, Karita or you know, all these other programs now, I would struggle because I don't know how to use them. Yeah, exactly. You can make a great stuff with a box of, you know, crayons. You can make great stuff with pen and paper and pencil. You don't need anything fancy. Definitely don't let them AI folks tell you otherwise. You can do wonderful things with, you know, very basic supplies. And that's something I think that a lot of, you know, the AI people are like, oh, you know, you professional artists, blah, 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 you gatekeeping these supplies from us. And it's like, no, dude, you don't understand. If you took like a professional artist's tools away and gave them, you know, just crud to do with, they could do the same thing. They would just be doing it slower. Like taking away the special tools, again, does not impact the skill. It just impacts your speed. Well, having a mentorship is, you know, definitely a plus for one thing. Yeah, give me a rock and a stone tablet and enough time and I'll work something out of it. Heck, when I was in high school, we used to, you know, make sculptures out of soap. They would give us a bar of soap and a butter knife and be like, you're going to make a soap sculpture. And it's like, okay, and just whittle and whittle and whittle away. And eventually I made like a little shark out of soap. Yep. You can make some good stuff with crayons. Yep. Soaptures. I wouldn't mind doing it again. It's fun. It's kind of soothing. You just, you know, have like one little piece and you're just kind of slowly whittling away at it. It's its own kind of soothingness. I also wouldn't mind trying linoleum sculpting again. Like basically you could make your own stamps if you have let's like a little block of linoleum, a kind of block of, you know, hard rubber, and sculpting tools like you would use with clay. And then just using the sculpting tools, you just kind of carve away at the linoleum until you can make a little imprint and you can make a stamp out of it. That was pretty cool. I do wish I was better at sculpting. It probably didn't help that, like, the one time I took a really serious sculpting class, the teacher was really hard-nosed about it, and I screwed up at some points, and he was quick to point that out. He's like, your measurements are off, blah, blah, blah. So I did not do very well in that class, and because of that, it kind of, like, impacted my love of sculpting. So I didn't pursue it very much. So it sucks when you have a teacher that's like, you know, really hard ass about it and not willing to give you any grace if you struggle. So, blah. Blah to that. It's especially hard because, like, you know, it's not even like, no, oh, you're being mean to a kid. It's like, I wasn't a kid or anything. This was supposed to be professional stuff. But, you know, just because you're good in one area does not necessarily mean you're good in another. And in that sense, I struggled with that class, and that sucked. I wouldn't mind trying to get better at sculpting. I just think I need a teacher that's a little bit more patient with me. But also, we had kind of a difficult task with that. It wasn't just like random sculpting. We basically had to do like a realistic human figure. Like that was our primary project. And turns out that's actually pretty hard to do. Like, in terms of, like, proportion and all that. It was tricky. Some people were really good with that, though. There are some really nice sculptures in that class. Yeah, okay, Elena. Realism is hard. Who would have guessed? Especially with sculpting. Because it's like, oh, you have the whole model here. You do not, you know, if it looks bad from one angle, people are going to be able to tell. Because they can walk around it in real life and see it. I kept that sculpture for a while, but I think eventually I gave it away, or I threw it out or something. I'm like, I can't keep this anymore. It takes up a ton of space, and it's not very good, so goodbye. It's always sad when that happens when you have to throw out art. Still not sure what my parents are going to do with the painting my brother did. Klaus and I will probably draw. Yeah, freehand drawing is its own difficult thing. That's still something useful, though. Like my brother for an oil... I'm pretty sure I mentioned this on stream before. But my brother, for an oil painting class he took, did a recreation of the Death of Marat, which is it's pretty good, old painting, but it's a painting of, a guy having been stabbed to death in his bathtub. And he's like holding, I assume Marat, holding a letter and stuff, and he's in this, bathtub kind of bleeding out. So, an interesting subject, but my brother did this recreation of this famous painting of the Death of Marat. And the painting is like 6 feet by 6 feet. It's a huge painting. It is so massive. And because it's so big, it's still in my parents' house. And it's like, we have to, we don't really want to keep this painting anymore, but it's really hard to move because it's enormous. And so they just have it like kind of tucked in like upstairs, up on this landing. So it's still like hung up. You can't really store that anywhere else but on the wall. But it's just like you're walking upstairs, and then all of a sudden you see this giant recreation of the Death of Marat on the wall. Who wouldn't want to see dead bathtub man? Exactly. I mean, it's a famous painting. It's not like, bad painting. It's museum quality stuff. It's a recreation of a famous painting. It's just of the famous paintings that you can recreate. It's not usually the kind you would put on your wall for your guests to look at. It really belongs more in a museum. So I don't know what they're going to do with that painting. But yeah, there's a giant recreation of the Death of Marat in my parents' house. It's been there for ages because they're like, well, it's a really nice painting. We don't want to get rid of it. But also, like, it's the dead bathtub man painting. And it's huge. Where do you put it? They probably have to donate it somewhere. Maybe the school can take it or something. I'm trying to remember if I've ever done like a recreation painting. If it did, I can't remember what it is. Probably didn't keep it. Okay, good luck with your college work. Yeah, ask me whatever you want about Photoshop stuff. I'll do my best to ask. Without hopefully complaining about Adobe a lot, because I can do that too. Good luck with your schoolwork. I'll probably keep going a little bit longer, and then I will have to stop eventually too, to make dinner and all that goodness. I'm just glad I was able to stream today. I was really worried that I was going to be too sick to do it. Burbly be flying. Once I finish this page, we'll have 3 more pages left to do clean lines on. It's getting there slowly. I am very glad too. I was seriously worried that I'm like, oh no, I'm going to like throw up a bunch and I'm going to be sick. Oh no, oh no. But apparently some Pepto-Bismol and a long night's sleep fixed it. Whatever it was. Probably undercooked dough. Yeah, stomach problems are just the worst. I don't know what it is, but like they have a particular awfulness to them. And I hate throwing up. I hate it. It's so bad. Ugh. Oh yeah, I've had family trips of that kind of stuff too. We used to go on long road trips. See family in Texas and stuff like that. And from California, that's, about a 2-day drive. We have to, probably stop at a hotel and stuff like that. But on one of those trips back after, some Christmas or whatever, one of my brothers got very sick with the stomach flu and threw up all over the car. And then you have to sit in the car as it smells like that for like a day or two to drive home. It was not good. I imagine it was even worse for my parents because they're the ones that actually have to, deal with that. Whereas I'm just like, I wash myself and my hands of this situation. cannot imagine dealing with sick children as a parent. Oh, that sounds miserable. Things I like drawing. People flying on the back of giant creatures. Chris gets to do it this time. Yeah, for sure. Like, parents, how did you do that? That sounds so bad. Definitely sick kids is one of them. And all the myriad ways that can happen. The power of love strikes again. Indeed. Power of love makes you clean up poor child's illnesses. Speaking of Alfies, look at you. You're still out on your rock. That's so nice. She usually hides away all day. And today, she sat out on her rock. And she's looking so pretty. You look so pretty with your chin held up high. When my friend was over yesterday, I was like, let's take her out and pet her. We're just like, oh, look at the girl. Oh, look at the lizard. Oh, look at there. And she just kind of stares. Because she is lizard. The power of drawing so many friggin' feathers strikes again. Of course you'd be the most annoying to draw, Birdly. And I was kind of hoping I'd finish this part by the end of the month, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. It might take a little bit longer. Even if I'm through most of it. I am used to drawing so many feathers, that's true. He's especially fluffy, though. He's got, like, extra weird feathers going on. Extra weird feathers. Spent half of yesterday drawing feathers. Well, speaking of, I really got to get together my, my VOD for Slay the Princess. And, get that set up. I was going to do that this morning and I forgot. Probably going to be a long one because I suspect this video is going to be very big because of all the texture in the background there. It was very cool art style, but there's a lot of texture. So I imagine it's going to treat it like static and be like, there's so much stuff happening, the video is now ginormous. So many feathers to draw, so little time. But it's okay. Now her visor's cracked. She won't be able to say lol on it. How will Queen say lol now? Except for out loud, of course. Yeah, another thing that makes this take longer is because this is like all of the big eldritch beasts. They each take a while to draw, so all of them together adds up quite a bit of time. Because it's like, okay, Birdly has all the feathers, and Noelle has all this fur, and Susie has the long hair. It just never ends. It never ends. Yeah, Ralsei's not too bad to draw. It takes a little longer to shade, but not too bad to draw. Got little squigglies. And Chris also isn't too bad. At least in terms of time. I'm pretty sure what made this part take so long is I had that extra step in terms of like poses. Because I'm like, okay, the scale is going to be nuts on this. I'm going to have to spend more time on that. More time than usual. Wondering when I should stop, because I also need to make sure I'm gonna start that other thing, also make dinner, all that goodness. So we might be stopping kind of soonish, actually. I also gotta finish Anthrofractal, so I gotta do that too. Too much stuff to do. Also, I'm thinking next weekend I might do things a little bit differently than I usually have, because that's a Easter weekend, it's a holiday and stuff like that. So I'm thinking I might combine the art stream and the game stream into one day and do them both on Saturday, like the art stream in the afternoon and then the game stream in the evening. So it'll just be massive streaming day, and then I'll take off Friday and Sunday for the actual holiday stuff. Otherwise, I imagine people will be busy like on Good Friday and on Sunday. Yeah, next week. Next week is Easter Sunday, or Easter weekend. Draw and play the game at the same time. Well, I do the drawing in the afternoon, and then I do the game in the evening. Simple. Simply do. Oh, it's still going. Yeah, I forgot when my next stretch break was. What day? Saturday. So I'll do them both on Saturday so that Friday and Sunday will be, free. Plus, I might meet a friend on Friday and all that stuff. So it might just be easier. What game? Probably more Slay the Princess, because I haven't finished it yet. I thought I would finish it in one session, and no, it turns out we still have more to go. So I'm going to keep working on Slay the Princess. Excuse me. Watch Jesus Christ Superstar for Easter. Yeah, I've never actually seen that. Yeah, I'm not sure where the finish for Slay the Princess is, but I imagine it'll probably be like, I don't know, when we get a certain number of endings for it. Because it seems like it starts to lock you out of certain endings if you've already done them. Like, you can't repeat endings. But yeah, there's always so much to do. I'm like, good grief, there's like, 10 different options here. And all of them are potentially interesting. Also, thank you for the raid. Yeah, I feel like basically once the hand void is like, we're done, is when we'll be done. The completionist entity will tell you when you have completionisted enough. If I'm reading that correctly. Cause yeah, I thought it'd be just a short little like, okay, here's a couple different endings you can try, sort of thing. Kind of like really fast ending, kind of like kind of like Stanley Parable. And I'm like, okay, this is actually pretty complex in terms of choices you can do. Oh, nice, that's good. That'll be a birthday thing for Akane. That'll be cool. No, I kind of wish I had done some birthday art. I didn't know it was their birthday. I should really write that stuff down for next time. For birthday! Yeah, before it gets dark. Yeah, I think what I might do is finish off this page, because we got one more panel up there to do? Yes, I thought that counts. I'm sure it'll be fine if it's late. I just, unfortunately, I don't think I can have the time to do a cool birthday art thing for now. But I should do some more of that in the future. I should do some more gift arts. I'm always so busy. And I should also catch up on, like, I should check out some of the other comics that were in that one that with all the Rousseys, like the Looking Glass one. I've seen a few pictures of it. I'm like, oh, that looks neat. I need to actually read that. Okay, thanks a bunch for coming to the stream. Appreciate you being here. There's talented people. I should communicate with them. Who would have guessed? I'm such a shut-in even in fandom. I don't communicate with people. What if I say a stupid thing? I'm like, I will anyway. Who cares? Nice. Fire Emblem, definitely a popular series. I have a coworker friend who got super into Three Houses when that came out. She was also like working on Peanuts at the time, so she had like a lot of skill doing Peanuts, so, you know, characters in a Peanut style. So a lot of Fire Emblem and stuff with Peanut style characters. Yeah, I suspect a lot of people started with Three Houses. But then nailing the Peanut style is actually harder than you would think. They are, especially if you're doing it professionally, they are very particular about that. They have guidelines you have to follow. And if you don't, they will not be happy. Then it gets off on the simplest styles that it's like are actually kind of hard to do. Because the way that they're simple made sense to the artist, but to everybody else it's like, wait, how did you approach this? Maybe I'll get more of a chance to do that in the future. If we have our little, we might have another, you know, gap week coming up at work, and I can have a bit more drawing time for that. Yeah, it can be a good motivator and stuff like that. For me, at least, it's less of a motivation thing and more of a time thing. My time is always so limited. I spend most of my drawing time doing it for work, so that's a little bit tougher. Because then it's like the inspiration is I have to please the client because they pay my bills. I have to think hard and make sure that I'm getting the script right down and all that goodness. Also, it's been kind of nice to like, you know, do, you know, kind of the scarier horror stuff for Eldritchrune, just as a bit of a contrast. Because, like, usually, especially right now for work, what I'm doing is very kid-friendly. It's for, you know, it's for preschool toys kind of thing. Or at least, like, you know, kindergarten, young kid kind of stuff, designed to sell toys. So it's very, very kid-friendly. So getting the opportunity to do something that's, like, you know, weirder and scarier is a nice break in that sense. So I will take that advantage while I have it for this particular project. Yeah, they're a little spooky. A little spoopy. Alright, thanks a bunch for coming to the stream. Appreciate you being here. Again, I'll probably be stopping as soon as I finish this page, which we are getting close to. Just gotta get through this one panel. No. Yeah. What is creepy to one person might be cute to another. I think kids deserve some eldritch horror as a treat. They do, to be honest. Why do you think kids are always like, oh, I'm into, like, you know, FNAF and blah, blah, blah. Kids like horror. You just need to have, you know, horror that's built for them the same way that you do any other genre. Return to Oz. That's a spooky movie. I'll tell you what, I feel like older movies were not afraid to be like really kind of messed up for kids, and now it's like, we can't do that. Think of the standards and practices. Even though movies don't have standards and practices, so I don't know why I'm talking about that there. That's just a TV thing. Burply fly. Basically, it's okay to let kids get scared of things. It's training for getting scared in real life, which does happen, unfortunately. Ugh, yeah, that's annoying. That's more of an issue of, like, we can't let the hero characters do a bad thing. That's not a good lesson. No, the point is that they learn the lesson from the bad thing and get better. Ugh. Some stuff does not need redoing and fixing. Reasons why I'm going to throw tables and scream a lot. Okay, that's not a Tumblr thing. That is a much wider thing than Tumblr. It goes way beyond whatever people are saying on Tumblr. Far beyond that. There are bigger problems there. Basically, people on Tumblr are not the ones that are writing and controlling this stuff. like let's be real here. Yeah, it's frustrating. There are bigger issues at play than the social media site is doing a thing I don't like. Just I'll put it like that. Bigger problems. Okay, I can say for sure it's not just those sites. I see people upset about it on multiple places, including like Twitter and, you know, Facebook, Instagram, what have you. It's any social media. And again, the people that are upset about those things, they're not in charge of, they're not executives at Netflix. They're not in charge of that kind of thing. They're not in standards and practices. The people that are in charge of that kind of thing are not on Tumblr. I'll just say that much. The people making those decisions. I guarantee you that the people that are responsible for, you know, making choices in media that you do not like, that are bad choices, that suck, they do not make themselves available for you to comment on it. They do not exist in a space in social media where you can tell them so. Instead, the people that do make themselves available to talk about it because they want to talk about their work are the artists. The people that usually do not have control over those decisions. And people will take out their anger on those artists, on those developers, or on those writers, or whatever, even though they are not the ones actually responsible for those bad decisions. Sometimes they are, a lot of the times they're not. The people that are responsible for bad media decisions, they're not available for you to yell at. I'm just going to say that right now. So, keep that in mind. It's not, you know, stupid teenagers on TikTok being responsible for this censorship. Yeah, it doesn't even make the project sell better. But it is done, too, because they think, oh, this will make the project sell better. And it doesn't. Like the teens on, you know, TikTok or whatever that are complaining about this stuff, they're complaining about it in, like, you know, fan fiction or whatever. They're not in charge of, you know, who makes this stuff and how the censors it gets passed. Ain't that the case? You know, you'd figure it would be this nice, you know, setup where it's like, okay, I'm the artist, I'm going to create a product for you, and you, the investor, are going to help sell it, and together we'll make money. Like, that should be the goal, right? But no, it's the investor that wants the creative aim over the project, because they're like, well, I'm the one investing the money, I should get to have the creative control over it. And it's like, but you're not the artist. You hired me to do this for you. You're gonna have to trust my judgment on that a bit. Please. If I am trusting you, the investor, to pay for this, you are going to have to trust me, the artist, to make the art for you. And that unfortunately does not happen quite as often as you would like. Sometimes it happens, but often it does not. Especially nowadays, I think there's a lot of investors who wish... The reason why that AI stuff is so big is the investors are like, well, if I can just cut the artist out entirely and have a machine do it for me, then I will get to call all the shots anyways. Not realizing that it is the creative act that makes the art in the first place. You can't just, throw a bunch of ideas into a machine and have it make good art for you. That's just not how it works. That is another issue, is they don't consider it art, they consider it product, content. It's stuff to sell. No, okay. Has Been a Hotel is a terrible example because Has Been Hotel is an independent project. Like, no. Trust me on this. Like, big companies do not give two shits about what a bunch of, puritanical teenagers or whatever on TikTok have to say. They are doing this for their own censorship reasons. People really want to be like, oh, these teenagers are the ones that are driving the culture and blah, 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 blah. No, not as much as you think. The teenagers are responding to the culture. They're not the ones creating it. Not in any kind of capacity that people with money do. I'm not going to use that word because I don't think that's a good word to use. I think it's kind of a crappy word, actually. So, no, I'm not going to say that. Sorry. It's a pointless insult. I think it's a bit reductive as to what's actually going on. Again, I think people will put a bunch of, people have always blamed teenagers for, society's ills. And teenagers are stupid, to be sure. Teenagers have always been stupid. That's a normal thing. As a teenager, you're supposed to be stupid. But again, they are not creating mass media. They are not directing mass media. They are not funding mass media. The people that are creating mass media that you are mad at are not teenagers. And again, they are not going to make themselves available to you for you to yell at. They are happy that you will do it at the artist instead. Just things to keep in mind. Okay. And on that note, I don't know if that's a good note to end on or not, but hopefully it's a educational note. That is where I'm going to be stopping for now, because I need to stretch and rest and eventually make some dinner and all that stuff. Yeah, like I said, I wish I had that kind of control when I was younger, but you definitely do not. Again, I think it is teens responding to the media and the world that has been presented to them. I don't think they are the ones that are driving it. So keep that in mind. Place the blame where it should be. That is my advice. And also my advice is that, don't eat spoiled pizza or undercooked pizza like I did. Don't do that. That was a crappy time. Cook your food all the way. Drink lots of water. Get lots of rest. And make cool stuff. That's also good. Even if it's, a little weird, even if it's a little wrong, the fact is you made it, and that's important. That's the way you do things. Yeah, well, I think with also with Twin Runes, there's style guides, color guides, something you can look at, so you can just do a little color picking from that as best as you can. But yeah, phew. I'm gonna stretch again. Thank you guys so much for coming to the stream and listening to me jabber on while I work on this stuff. So I think, I think what I might do next is I'm going to consolidate the next weekend streams all into Saturday. It'll just be a big streaming Saturday, and then otherwise Sunday and Friday I'm not going to do streams because those are holiday stuff. So look out for that. I'm probably going to be kind of crazy to double up streams on one day, but I can probably manage it. So that'll be a fun time. in the future. The future being a week from now. So yeah, I really appreciate y'all being here. Okay, yeah. If you're working on Saturday, the game stream will be in the evening, so you can do that. I was saying in the future, just next weekend, because it's a holiday weekend, people will probably be busy on Easter Sunday and Good Friday and stuff like that. I'm just going to consolidate the streams onto Saturday. I'll do the art one in the afternoon, and then we'll do more Slay the Princess in the evening, and it'll just be double stream Saturday, just next weekend because it's a holiday. So yeah. I'll see you guys then. Again, thanks so much for coming to the stream. Thanks for following or rating or whatever you're doing. It'll be a big stream. And I hope your guys' week is good. Stay cool, stay healthy, and I will see you all next time. Alrighty. I'll see you later.